We're live.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
That freaked me the fuck out for a second. I was like, wait,
what is going on? Why is there another one? Oh no,
It's happening again.
Okay.
the same pose. The same goddamn
I'm completely
pose.
lost. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? And I see what we're talking about now.
It's
So,
moving.
welcome to Fans Power, right? Yeah. So, welcome to Fans of Power. I'm James Eatock. I'm the guest. This is so freaky. I think up there that might be Joe, or it might be Dušan Mitrović. Oh, we're not quite sure. Oh, this is so freaky. I don't like this.
It is weird.
This is awesome.
And we got,
I can talk to this Joe.
Can I do it like clockwise? Oh, actually, no, mine doesn't. So, Joe Amato, Rebecca Cox.
McDonald, sir. She's married now.
Oh God, I keep saying the old name.
It's okay.
Do you know what's even weirder about that? The same time you changed your name, I briefly dated a lass called Rebecca McDonald, and I was like, so I got really confused.
That's
Really
weird.
confused. Yeah, so bizarre. Lovely lass, and American, but just really bizarre. And I was like, oh, how weird. So yeah, Rebecca McDonald, Nathan Kennedy, and Tyler Baker. So I didn't get all your nicknames though. Sorry, I know it's like.
Tipple
Newt.
Tricks, this is
I
a
think
Brady
it's
Bunch
just
moment.
just
I feel like
throwing you off. It's a little.
I look
it
down
is a
like
Brady
this.
Bunch moment right now.
Look
Yeah.
over there. Look at the
This
angle.
is, don't look at him, Joe. Oh my God, that's so weird. That's so weird. What's even weirder is I've got it on my telly over there, so I'm watching this broadcast over there on my telly, and there's about a 10-second delay. Oh, this is so bizarre. I might have to turn that off actually. So welcome to Fans Power. Yeah. All right. How is everyone? Well, I'm not the leader here. How is everyone?
You are today, James. You are the leader.
How is everybody? Have you had a good week?
Yes.
Timed that one perfectly.
That was. Yeah, Dušan's practiced this out. This is awesome.
This is
Was
scary.
he controlling it?
It's like a puppet. He's got like a marionette of Joe over there, and he's just
This is weird. This is throwing me off.
This is really
He's
weird.
just sitting there breathing like he's a Michael Myers or something. It's great.
Should I keep them beside of each other, or should
I
I
like
no,
this.
beside that way Joe could like turn this way and act like hey, say something, you dumbass, or something like that. And
we'll put
Joe,
Joe in the center.
Joe,
okay.
Joe, do that. Do the old.
I'm waiting for when he does it at the same time. I was like, I was seeing when that was timed because I was trying to put my hand up when he does it. That is creepy.
Oh,
that's fucking creepy.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my God!
Oh,
That is some weird shit. I don't even know what to fuck. Oh.
So yeah, for people watching, that's Dušan Mitrović playing the role of Joe Amato. You haven't got a voice thing as well, have you? You haven't AI'd his voice or anything like that.
Now, if he did a voice thing, that would be creepier than shit.
Give it time.
I'm sure it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna take off this Band-Aid. I had a Band-Aid on my finger so we can make this more authentic next time I see the
one of the hookers bite your finger too hard today?
No, just with shit. But hey, let me quickly say hello to the chat. We have McDJ, Fedmon, Zentron, Brian Brummagem, Pendragon Designs. I already said Fedmon. Okay, sorry. Daniel Carhonen. I'm scrolling there, buddy. Jenny Q, Zentron, fans up. Oh, never mind. You did not hear me. Just God, I do it every time when I say my. Okay, never mind. Simple Tricks is here.
It's so fucking cool. It's a robot over there.
Joe.
Like I'm reading the chat. No, because I was like, I gotta read the chat.
Joe, you just sit still and let the Joe that's got some better quality. Video
There
quality.
you
Talk
Just do
and
that
let
for you.
your doppelganger do all the moving.
JSP, Felipe, Paulrick, Gamerbud, Spider Rat, Giraffe, Adam Gabbert, and and Aiden Cross.
Hey, what's he doing now?
What's he doing? I can't take this shit.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh, I'm just curious, Fake Joe. Can you keep this going the whole show? Like, do you have a lot of stamina for this?
You can get thrown off the air.
Yeah.
Oh, this is killing me. Oh my god.
We can retire jerking off Orcos from James. We just play Fake Joe.
This is fantastic. I mean, there's going to come a point during this broadcast, you realise, Joe, where you're going to forget who you are.
Yeah.
And I think you'll be like, which one am I? Am I the real me? It'll be like the Spider-Man phone song or whatever. Oh God, no, they're both at it. Stop it, both of you. Stop it.
What was I doing that episode? I think I was just scratching my leg.
I mean,
Joe,
really
can you out
jerk very
him?
complimentary.
I can't do it. Go, please. Somebody else talk, because I'm losing my shit. I can't concentrate.
You're gonna make him puke and leave the show again. All right. Thank you.
Please calm down.
Thank you, Dušan.
Oh my god. Oh shit. For people who are gonna listen to this later in audio, you gotta go to YouTube to watch this shit.
Oh yes, for sure. All the people
This is better than any upscale Dušan's ever done. Like that was certainly the most impressive thing Dušan has done to date.
Yes, and he hasn't even spoke yet.
I was wondering what he was gonna do, because when he joined, he doesn't have a camera, so he's using the virtual camera. And we just saw like a little black screen. And he's like, oh, I got something in mind. So when the intro's going, I don't think the rest of these guys, when an intro is playing, they can't see everyone else like I can.
No.
So I got really confused because I look down here and just see another Joe sitting there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why when I said, and we're live, I was already cracking up.
Oh, my God.
Very nice.
So
this is eerie. Can you please speak, Dušan, please?
It's really
He's not going to do it. I bet he doesn't even speak.
No, he will.
I'm speaking right now.
There he is. He's speaking. The man's speaking from behind the mask. That's what he's doing. He's speaking. And we all think it's AI. It's actually Dušan in a green top and a whole Joe getup.
He's mimicked the whole background.
The whole background. He's just gone all out.
It's like Ocean's 11 or something. They like a whole duplicated background. Yeah.
And this is the second time, James, you and him have actually like heard like you're speaking to one another, or
so obviously we've known each other for years and years and years. But I think the only other time, I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, Dušan, but the only other time I think we spoke to like live, and we're live. The only other time we spoke was when when I watched Revelation, and Dušan said, let's talk about it. And I was like, okay.
That was all of our reactions when asked about it. Okay.
It was an interesting, we had a good chat about it. But I think, is that correct, Dušan? That's like the only time we've ever conversed.
Yep.
That's nuts. Like we worked together. We worked together on the return of Faker for 3.5 years. We've worked together on numerous things, like the channel and everything. And that's like the only time we ever talked was about Revelation, which I guess says a lot about Revelation, that we felt, it was worthy of a chat.
Well, season 2 is around the corner. I guess you guys got another phone call lined up.
Around the corner. That's going to be another 2 years. Excuse me.
Oh, is it? Oh, well.
I can't go out of camera to.
Oh, come on, just do it. Just do it. I've been sick since Wednesday. Just go
down
for
there.
It.
You can't see me.
Make a sound effect. I was waiting for Nathan to hit like a.
No.
Oh wait, yeah. Yeah. All right, yeah. Go ahead, James.
Okay,
I got you on this one. Yeah.
He farted out of his nose.
Oh, it went wrong.
Just junked in my pants.
Perfect.
Do you want to see some brand identity here? So back in 2003 to 2008 or 9, Contender DVD released the He-Man episodes in the UK, like the first company to release He-Man on DVD. And then they rebranded Contender in, I think it was about 2006, at this amazing top of the building party in Kensington. It was rather. They had it was the first time I ever saw a chocolate fountain. It's one of those companies that just had money to burn. They were doing this whole rebranding presentation, and I've still got their cup. Look at that, Contender Entertainment Group.
Cool.
Oh, there you go.
I was thinking it was like a Brave Star mug when we first saw it. Like it almost looked like a Marshall Star.
Got my Brave Star mug over there on the shelf.
Got our first sponsor right there. That shit again. Do a little promotion.
I don't think Contender exists anymore. I think
Oh, well, there went that.
I think they may have become. I think they may have become E1 Entertainment, or that was someone else. Anyway, going on to other things there. Yeah, there we go. Coffee.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna make myself a coffee and then I'll be there, and it's like 20 minutes. I'm like, where the fuck is this guy?
They went down the street, I guess, to get one of the local coffee shops, I guess. And
Oh, not at 10 at night. I'll especially not in this area. I mean, I'm not in London anymore. I'm in Lowestoft, which is in the middle of nowhere. Literally, the town shuts down around about 5 in the afternoon, and nothing
wow.
happens. Yeah.
Joe, what
So
is
yeah.
Nothing. It was just a gnat went right on the screen, but I couldn't hit it hard.
Oh.
I think I messed up my one screen before, but this is the new one you got me. I would have punched it. Or...
We've lost the other Joe.
looked like a bunch of moths like flew up in Joe's face.
It looked like Joe cast a spell.
I
Joe,
saw an alien on the side.
Yeah, Joe took. What's happening? Oh, he's back. Oh,
I
I'm
love this.
scared. I'm scared about how much footage.
Yeah, like what else is gonna happen?
Yeah.
Right.
Joe's like, I don't remember filming this.
I know.
I was even thinking for a second, like, I don't remember this. I really don't.
You're gonna get a bit in a minute with like the mask, and Joe's just in a shower, like,
Oh my god.
just like, wait.
That would be great if he could loop me now and just keep doing the hand motions. I go quiet for a bit. Everybody knows.
So
Oh,
weird.
he's back. There we go. We thought
It's
we lost
really
you,
creepy.
Joe.
The horror film like cuts and everything. It's
Yeah,
it's like some like serial killer footage that you would
it really is kind of, yeah. And I've got
Joe's
the
been
delay
watching too much
happening here, so
Dahmer.
I'm seeing it here again.
see like flashes in the basement of like the ladies tied up and
Oh,
That's-
this is interesting. Hello, all from France. Thanks for joining us.
France. Well, yeah. Hello.
Who knows any French? I only know like horrible
Oh,
French
Nathan
from
failed French.
Marvel Comics.
It was third year French, and I didn't need the credit anymore
But I think you failed it, didn't you? Deliberately.
on purpose. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
yeah, sure, you did.
The teacher was like, "Why don't you just apply yourself?" I'm like, "I don't need the credit. Plus, mathematically, at this point, it's not possible for me to pass this class." I'm like, "Here's your book," and she was like, "Ugh." And then I would just sleep. I would just, because it was the first class of the day. I would get there and just take a little nap.
Oh.
Granted,
Oh,
this was
that's
senior
slacker.
year, so he was already done, by that point. So
I mean, it's
Way to expand your mind. That's pretty good. Just give up and say fuck it. It's like,
yeah,
don't need
I
it.
could probably, I don't know. Maybe I'll brush up on some French at some point and then come back in a couple weeks and speak some sentences to everybody.
I did Spanish for 3 years at school. And
Me
the only
too.
thing I remember,
I
remember like how como te llamas? Me llamo James Eatock. I always love doing that though. Instead of going James, I just go, como te llamas? Me llamo James Eatock. And then other things. The only other phrase, there was a phrase which was "Hay una banco por aquí," which I think is "Where's the bank?" Or it's like the bank's down the street. So I can tell someone where the bank is in Spain. I just don't know how to ask where the bank is.
¿Dónde está el sanitario? ¿Dónde está biblioteca?
Biblioteca.
¿Dónde
That's
está
what
mis zapatos?
Zapato
Where
shoes.
are my shoes?
Yeah, shoes. Zapatos.
Well, do the one from Encino Man. The cheese is old and moldy. Where's the bathroom?
Well, I just said it. I said, ¿Dónde está el sanitario?
Oh, okay, all right, hell yeah, all right.
I actually
Cool.
pulled that because of Encino, man. Like, it's
Oh.
like I remember.
What was the one from Wonder Years? Remember when he was like "Voulez-vous de bear" or something?
Oh yeah,
like,
something about the butter. Yeah,
something about the butter.
yeah, with Madeline, the hot blonde. Yeah.
"Voulez-vous de bear." Yeah, I remember that. See,
Fun facts because we love our facts on this channel.
We're all
Fun
about
facts.
trivia on this channel.
All about trivia. Encino Man wasn't called Encino Man over here in the UK. It was called
Yeah.
California Man.
Yeah,
Because I
Oh.
remember the first time I ever saw it I used to obviously buy Marvel comics, and obviously they would have trade ads in there.
Yeah, it was
Remember,
always
like-
in the back of a lot of comics for me. Yeah.
That cover it said Encino Man. I was like, that's California Man. And obviously, yeah, they'd renamed it because it was probably a harder sell because we don't know where Encino is. Obviously, I do these days, but back then I was like, what's an Encino Man? There you go. So more great riveting trivia for you next week.
Did you enjoy Encino Man or California Man? I guess when you saw it.
Oh man, I haven't seen it since it came out, so I remember very little. Here's a fun fact. It's not a fun fact. So my friend and a couple of others, we do a podcast where we review movies, It's got like a little following, and we've been doing them. You know, we review all different kinds of movies. So it's been fun discovering movies that I've never seen before. We one coming up was Top Gun Maverick, and I was like, oh right, okay, Top Gun Maverick. I guess that means I better watch Top Gun. So I'd never actually seen Top Gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't either.
It's I was surprised. I mean, not to get into the whole thing, but I was surprised how much I actually enjoyed Top Gun. I thought, oh, this is going to be that film where it's like, because I knew certain things about it already, and then you watch it.
I feel like I've seen it already, even though I haven't seen it. It's weird.
It's exactly it. I was like, oh, I know this film. Like, Goose dies, Iceman's kind of his, adversary. Defeat the bad guys, Tom Cruise on a bike, Kelly McGinnis, and then you watch the film. It's like, it's actually quite a good film. Yeah. And then I really enjoyed Top Gun Maverick. It gave me real feelings of anxiousness, because the shots when they're in the planes, you're like, oh, I think those guys and girls are actually experiencing G-force. Yeah. Because you see like Tom Cruise's face, like, oh, and it's like, oh my god, like that's proper G's. So it was. I found it a great film. So yeah, for He-Man and She-Ra fans, check out Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, that movie fucking rocks, man. Like I really wanted to see that again in theaters. God, it was awesome. I kept grabbing my wrist the entire time and not realizing. I'm like, I gotta stop grabbing my wrist. Like,
how are you grabbing your wrist, man?
Well, because I'm like, oh my god, because I sit like this when I'm in the theater sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like grabbing a hold of my wrist, like, why am I doing this?
I thought you might
like,
be
during
like
certain moments.
Shift,
Yeah, I was like, holy shit!
Yeah,
so that was probably the last. Well, I haven't been in the movies much, but when I saw that, like, I was like genuinely like adrenaline pumping. You like, I got to see this. I wanted to see it in IMAX, but they had already kind of phased it out of IMAX by the time I got to see it. So I imagine it would look really good in like real 3D or IMAX.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So movie recommendations for the week. Also, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I saw that for the first time.
There's a random film just pulled out of your ass there. Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
I can connect it to like the podcast in some way. So I'd never seen it, and it was like
you don't have to, James. You don't feel like you gotta like, because we do this all the time.
No, but what you don't know is in my sad little life, every 5 minutes I have to connect something to Filmation.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I'm like, I just go
I
like
love
nuts.
that. I wish I could do that every day for everything, but people look.
No,
at me
it's not good, Tyler, because I'll just be in the shop and I'll be like, "Have you seen episode 37 of He-Man? It's not my fault. It's fantastic." And the guy's like, "Can you just pay for these items you bought?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, 1 pence, 2 pence, 3 pence. Episode 3, Disappearing Act. They're like, "You need help." I'm like, I'm fine. So yeah, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Sergio Leone, incredible Western. I was like, yeah, Westerns, whatever, watched it. I was like, that's probably the best film I've ever seen. So it's incredible. But then I remembered, oh yeah, that's the film that Tom Tadeusz always used to say when he was making Brave Star the Legend, he kind of paid homage to so many shots in that film. So you watch Once Upon a Time in Mexico and it's like,
I'm thinking you're talking about the Robert Rodriguez, Johnny Depp film.
No, sorry, I'm saying Once Upon a Time in the
West?
Once Upon a Time in the West.
I'm like, wait a second here. Like, seriously, you didn't direct that.
Yeah, sorry.
Robert Rodriguez.
I've got Once Upon a Time's wrong.
I mean, hey, talking about Once Upon a Time in America. Like, Robert De Niro crossed paths with Johnny Depp, and
I still haven't seen that yet. People have been saying you've got to see Once Upon a Time in America. I was like, okay,
I haven't seen that either.
You know what? Let's just spend the next hour 40, hour 50 minutes and just tossing out movies to James and see if he's seen them. That's how we'll spend the rest of the time.
I love the way they both Joes are folding their hands. This is
I know. It's really
I think he's trying to make a point that Joe has a lot of nervous tics, so he's constantly reminding Joe, "You're doing this all the time," and I have footage that proves it. That too.
I'm gonna do that again. Damn it! You have to put that one back up.
Oh man, he's really going for it as well when he's doing that.
Well, let's get Dušan involved here and talk about. We'll start talking about your channel that you created. The Serial Geek channel. Because first, obviously, you had the amazing magazine that I'd love to see make a comeback of that too. But how long have you been thinking about wanting to create the YouTube channel? And once you started getting the process of I'm going to do that, how long did that take to finally start getting it going?
So I guess it goes back to just around about the pandemic, so early like mid sort of like March 2020 time. Because I remember like walking around where I used to live in London, in Tottenham, walking around going to the shop and stuff, just think to myself, I really want to, you know, because you have a lot more time on your hands. It's like you're not socializing or doing any of that stuff. Can't go to any pubs and get pissed. So it's like, right, so what am I going to be doing? I need to get my creative juices flowing. So I thought, like, I wanted to do something to celebrate He-Man and She-Ra and the usual James Eatock bollocks. So I thought, well, maybe I could get the blog back up and running. I was like, oh, the old He-Man and She-Ra blog I used to do. It ran from 2007 to about 2013, something like that, and that did really well. But yeah, it just every time I kept sight of other Joe, it was just like just this mask. Oh Christ, that's amazing! Oh man, I'm gonna keep laughing. I'm gonna just look down.
Just close your eyes, man.
It really is genius. Like I'm thrilled to death he did that. That's fucking. It's intelligent as hell. God.
Sometimes I don't like to know Dušan's secrets because I'm sure there is.
I swear he's controlling it.
There's like a pact with the devil.
It's not just one giant loop. I swear he's controlling it.
Oh, he must have it must be like a, what do they call it? Like a board where it's like beep, beep, and he'll do something else next.
Yeah.
What other things haven't you shown us yet, Joe?
Well, he's using OBS virtual camera, and having messed around in OBS a lot, I know if he's got X amount of GIFs, he's just flipping through all of them.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's as simple as just clicking a button and moving stuff down a pecking order.
And if I didn't actually have to adjust my mask every once in a while, it's like I'd stop doing it because he keeps doing it. I know he's going to do it the second I do it, but
I think James is right. I think at a certain point you're going to kind of forget who you are.
You're going to look to yourself and think like, oh, I forgot I was wearing the green shirt today, and then you're like, I'm not wearing a green shirt. Don't point at him, Jesus! Like you don't have one of him pointing, do you, Joe? Too.
No, that would have been cool. But yeah,
he has the front point, doesn't he?
Yeah, where I have a powerful day, or doing that. I got to start making new things right now so he can use for future episodes.
Yeah, we got to use this more. This is genius. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. This one, Joe, where you're just like,
yeah, that shit. Then, he's gonna have a lot of stuff planned.
Your Italian hands.
Oh yeah, you got to give us Italian hands there, Joe. Yeah, that too.
I did that too. Oh,
wait! You got a new one.
That was a new one. I've never seen that.
He's probably got like
doing that. When the fuck did I?
No, Joe
I don't
doesn't
know.
remember doing that. I don't remember doing that.
This is too much. James, you got to get back on track because this.
Yeah. Oh man, sorry. So yeah, I toyed with the idea so much like this. That was the best. That would be the best one. I'm like waiting for him to do something. So I thought about bringing back the blog, and then I thought, I don't really want to do that. And I think it was around about like May 2020. I thought I think I'm gonna do a YouTube channel. And then I thought I'll do it about He-Man, She-Ra, and lots of other cartoons. So certain corporations don't go, he's making a He-Man channel. Let's stop that straight away, because you never know who's watching. So I thought if I do lots of cartoons, like I did with the magazine, you kind of maybe have a little bit more freedom, creative freedom as well. Because I thought, like yesterday's video, I thought I'd really love to do something about Inspector Gadget. So it's like, well, now I can do that. Now I can talk about Mask, and now I can talk about Ninja Turtles and all these shows that I grew up loving.
Bionic 6.
Yeah, just it was Bionic 6, of course. Yeah, it's just that one thing. It's like, and then it was a case of I need to do it. I need to actually make it happen. So I was going to start it back in, I think it was March. And then I didn't, and then time just went on, and then I think it got to June, and I thought I really need to start this. Like, it was scary and daunting as well, because I hadn't used Adobe Premiere in, oh my goodness, like a decade or something. I've been using Magix, which is my editing system, and that's got so many limitations. So I got the Adobe Premiere Suite package. Oh my god,
shit's expensive, right?
They're very expensive. So I'm giving them like Adobe plenty of money each month, but it does obviously, Adobe is like the products they offer, Photoshop, and I was using Photoshop from 2002. I mean, it was still good.
Whatever,
it's still good. I got my real old one too. It works perfect. I didn't know how much they paid for the new service. So you got to pay every month for this new Photoshop.
Yeah, mine's like I what is mine? Mine's like, I think it might be somewhere in the region of £20 to £30 a month. So at the current shit exchange rate, you're looking at roughly about $35, something like that. Per month.
$35 a month for fucking
Yeah.
photo? God damn! Thank God I got free shit. I mean, it's fucking like down to 16 years old. It still works.
No. Like I
couldn't
said, my Photoshop, I really enjoyed using them for 2002. But it's so funny when you get like when I got the new one. It was like, oh, this is not as good as the one from 2002. And then as soon as you start using it, it's like, oh, I can see all the bonuses and how much faster it runs.
And
My
it's a
laptop,
learning factor probably with all the new stuff.
It's that, and the fact that my laptop is, my laptop's 6 years old, and it started having real problems with Photoshop. Photoshop would crash at the most inexplicable of times. I couldn't even use the fill tool. If I used the fill tool on something smaller than, a selection of pixels, it would just crash Photoshop. And I was like, I can't have that anymore. So I thought, okay, I got the new Photoshop, the Premiere, and then I get, because I use InDesign, Premiere, all the editing stuff, InDesign, Photoshop, and what are the other ones? Oh, obviously Adobe Acrobat, but all that stuff. But yeah, it's so I did all that, and I just started learning how to use Premiere. It was so scary. I was like, oh god, how am I gonna? I couldn't even do like, I want to fade this to this. How do I fade this clip to this? At that point, it was, how do I even do this? Like, because I've been using a certain system for so long, which was timeline. Timeline, and then you have a thing or track, and then you have a thing in between them. With Premiere, it's just like you just do that. So, oh right, okay. So I got used to it, but oh my god, for a while I was like, I'm never going to be able to make videos. And then once I got into the zone, I was just like, oh, this is fantastic. And obviously, I knew for a fact Dušan would help out massively with it, and I just, everything from just saying, what's he doing? Oh God, not helping out like that.
I think I just caught it. I had to reach in my pocket to get a tissue to stick it in my head to keep my mask off my face, and I think maybe that's what I did. I don't know, but yeah,
maybe
now I won't fidget.
I
shouldn't have to fidget my mask no more now because my eyeball is not being rubbed by that mask. Oh fuck! Keep going, James. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say you're continuously giving him so much content though. You must just remain perfectly still throughout. That's the only way you're going to survive this ordeal.
Yeah, it's impossible for Joe to sit still for longer than 5 minutes.
I don't know if anybody's more fidgety than Joe. He's doing it again.
I can't stop. No, the mask is annoying. Go ahead, James. You keep talking. I'm just gonna.
I'll give Joe the benefit of the doubt. At least he's kind of stopped rubbing his nipples so much.
I haven't done that.
I'm surprised Dušan hasn't played that yet.
I'm sure it's there.
He must have that. I reckon I'm going to start talking, and that's going to pop up. Or will it?
I don't know about that one.
He's probably sitting there right now. Damn it. All right, there it is.
He's like, I'm not going to play to this audience. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. He'll start rubbing nipples when he feels like it. Yeah.
But so I just started. Sorry, Becca, what was it?
I said when we least expect it.
Yes, because it catches us off guard. But I just started making videos, and I would send the scripts to Dušan. I was like, "Does this sound all right?" And he would say, "Maybe take that out or change this." It's like, good shout. It's a pretty good partnership, and he's the man when it comes to sound. Like, he does all the. Whenever I play clips throughout the YouTube videos, if I play a clip from an 80s cartoon, I could use. We have obviously for He-Man and She-Ra, we have the music and effects tracks, but more times than often, I don't want there to be sudden musical bursts when I'm doing like blah 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 80s cartoon. So Dušan, I'll send him the clips, and he'll add the sound effects. So he does all the. And he includes some like great sound effects. Like he sneaks in a lot of Wilhelm screams in there. There's one coming up for Transformers. I think it's a video from next year, and because that's how far ahead I'm working. And he put like Wilhelm screams, and it makes me laugh out loud because I never know when I'm watching them where these sound effects are going to pop up. So some sound effects I'm like, oh, that's so cool. He's done that and he's done this, and then others I'm like. I did there's a video coming, it's not a spoiler because I think it's in about 3 or 4 weeks, which is like 50 things about Prince Adam, which is more of a light-hearted video. And I put this video together, and the amount of clips he had to put sound effects to was phenomenal, but some of the sound effects were just, he went like to the point of where I had to rein it in. I was like, maybe we don't do this one as well. But the amount I'd say like 98% of what he did is in there. And it's so funny, some of the sound effects, like Orko getting kicked and making a scream. Or one of my favorite bits is just before, because I talk about Prince Adam surviving great falls. And in the episode Trouble in Arcadia, it's just him walking through like this tunnel before he falls out of shot. It's like do do do, and he goes. And when I'm watching the clip back, Prince Adam's walking and he's humming to himself. And right, so I messaged him. I was like, "Where did you find that?" And he's like, "That's me." But it's so good. And you listen, it's like, "Oh yeah, that is Dušan." But you can. It's not like, "Oh, there he is." It's just, it's really subtle. But it's stuff like that.
Is
So
he a
whenever
part
I
of
get
every
those-
video? Is he a part of every video of helping you? Oh, well, you're
God,
right
yeah.
there. I mean, I guess we can ask him too. I mean, beyond.
I mean, he is here.
Yeah, not being me. Are you a part of all the videos there, Grimbot?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Hey, we got 2 words out of him in a half
He
hour.
never shuts up.
This guy's
There's
a
3.
chatterbox.
That's 3.
it's 3
3
words.
words. No, man. Like I've said to him, like the channel wouldn't be probably. I mean, it would exist, but it wouldn't be what it is without him. Because that's why I got him down as an associate producer. Because it's like the guy puts in just as much time as I do on it. Like I sent him last week. Christ, like 214 images that needed upscaling from an episode of Transformers called Call of the Primitives and Filmation's The New Adventures of Zorro, which was animated by Tokyo Movie Shinsha. And I sent them to him, and he got them back to me like the following day. I was just like, bloody hell. And it's, I mean, that, yeah, there are automated things, but it still takes effort to do that and time. And I've said to him before, it's like he puts in so much to it, and it's just it's always a pleasure working with him because it's someone that genuinely has a passion for it. It's not a ghostwriter who's just doing it because he's doing it. It's someone that I know I can rely on Dušan to do the fucking great creative work, but also for honest feedback. Like I'll send, like with the I can't remember if I sent you this one, Tyler, but it was the Superman Spider. I think it was Superman Spider.
That was the first one you sent me. Was that one, I believe?
But I'm trying to remember if it was that or Dušan might correct me, or was it a Transformers one where I had like an additional 3 minutes where I talked. I think it was Transformers actually.
Yeah.
And I talked about for an additional like 3 or 4 minutes, and I sent it to him, and he was just like, that kind of doesn't, it just feels like it's been tagged on. I was like, yeah, it does. Because I was kind of like, here's the thing I'm talking about in the video. Also, here's me talking about Transformers for another 4 minutes. But it just didn't feel, it felt like doing that as another video or something else. I was just like, yeah. So stuff like that, I know he's always going to give honest feedback or take that line out because it could be misconstrued or someone could take that, not as offensive, but just like, we don't want to do the whole thing of, we have light-hearted looks at 80s cartoons, but it's not. They're all shit. 80s cartoons are rubbish because they were animated by amateurs and written by children. It's like, no, some of the great sci-fi writers and animation studios of our time worked on these things. How are they amateurish? So I know with him, like if I say something, he'll say like maybe change that because people might think you're saying this about Filmation or something. It's like, yeah, that's a good shout. So yeah, it's a really good collaboration because I know I can rely on him to, like I say, be honest and also go, here's some great content, and also come up with ideas. He came up with an idea for a Ninja Turtles video. I was like, oh, he knows Ninja Turtles like the back of his hand, whereas I stopped watching after season 3. So to hear him say, oh, this, that, and this, it's just, oh wow, and also like just the graphic stuff he does. I showed, Tyler gets all the good stuff. Because he does send me photos. So I sent Tyler these thumbnails of these videos coming up next year. And it's like a Robert Lamb interview. Because Robert Lamb did an interview for the Contender DVDs back in 2005. And he did this interview, which was like an hour and a half long. But for the DVD, I edited it down to like 40 minutes and just focused on him talking about Chakotay because that was the episode on the DVD that the interview was released on. So I thought, well, for the channel, I could use all 1 hour and 40 minutes of the interview. Obviously, trimming bits and pieces here and there. But I turned it into like a 6-part series and sent it to Rob Lamb. Rob Lamb was like, that's fantastic. I was like, yeah. And it's just really good because it's like a history of Rob Lamb's career, which starts at Filmation. It's so, because I've known Rob since 98. So he talks about like his entry into Filmation. There's a section about when he first hears about He-Man. There's a section where he talks about Chakotay, another one about She-Ra, and then I forget each one, but like the last one is Filmation closing their doors and what happened to him next, like what happened to his career. So those videos are all done, and therefore next March and April of next year, I think. So they're all done. But my point of this was I sent Dušan like these images of Rob, like 6 images of Rob where he's, talking in the video. And I said, can you filmationize him? So within a day, Dušan has created these awesome Rob Lamb filmation like images.
Our logo really for this show is due part to him. I'm like, hey, can you make us in filmation style? And the first time, matter of days, he had it done.
First time I ever saw him do that was, I think it was one of my birthdays, and he sent me, like, he posted an image. I think it was the one of me and Skeletor, and I was like, oh wow, he's turned me into a filmation person. But like, as is the case with Dušan, it's like
I remember that image too. So he's the one responsible for that.
Yeah, he did that. He did a Beastman one. One of my favorite ones. One of my favorite ones was less filmation and just a wicked caricature of Plunder emerging from a giant birthday cake, and Scott Knightlick, did he have like $100 bills or something?
You gotta get that image up here. Come on, Dušan, send that so we can put this up.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's like, there's no disrespect to Scott, but it's just such a funny image. It's just so good.
No disrespect. Yeah.
I was gonna say, feel free to disrespect. I mean,
no, we'll pop this up. We got to see what
I have the one on my computer. This one.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
That was the first, I think that was the first one he did, and I was like, oh, he filmationized me. But the funniest thing is, he, like, as I was saying, like when you think, oh, like, he can't get any better. Oh, he's got better, and it's that thing of, like, with the Rob Lamb ones, they look fantastic. Yeah, it's so funny, and these thumbnails just came together so well. And it's that feedback. Like, I sent them, and sometimes he's just like, no. And that's the thing is, it's just that's the beauty of it. Sometimes you want someone just to be no, or yes, or whatever, and I'm like, give me something, man. But that sometimes that bluntness is perfect, because it's like, okay, and it forces me to do better. And with these videos, there's, oh my god, yesterday I lost my shit because I'm so, when it comes to editing, I say OCD, and I'm so precise. And I check everything. My background for 2 years was QC. My job was to watch DVDs and films in QC and spot any flash frames or anything like that. And I upload the Inspector Gadget video, and then midway through the day, Dušan messages me and says, there's a flash frame in there. And I was like, oh, you're kidding. And it's something. There we go. He knew it was coming. Oh, so I was just like, oh no, there's a flash frame in there. So I was just saying to him, I got to take it down. I got to take the video down. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. But I got stressed because I can't have one single video on this channel that's got like any ounce of error in it, which is crazy talk. But he was just like, don't worry about it. And then I watched it back, and I was like, oh, it's a minor flash frame, and I could kind of pretend it's like an animation error or something, but still. It really burned me for a good 20 minutes. I was like, I need to take the video down. This is not good enough. And that's just the anal perfectionist. Oh, let's not go there. That's just the perfectionist in me. I wanted to take 2 things there, and I combined them into one thing. The anal perfectionist. Hi, Jane Eatock, the anal perfectionist.
All right. Next time you join us, that's how we're going to refer to you, as the anal perfectionist, James Eatock.
Dušan, don't you have like an animated response to that? Oh,
what's even?
Oh no,
that's the wrong one. What's sadder is I looked this up on YouTube, and even the fake Joe up there is clearer than me right now. I'm even blurrier than.
That's what makes it funnier.
It doesn't make sense. I don't understand this shit.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, Joe, we'll call that one. We call him not Joe 2, we'll just call him HD Joe.
Yeah,
he's coming through like HD Joe and just regular Joe.
Oh, shit. Well, James, anyways, about your channel now, I was going to ask one question. I know all the content you're putting up, you have a lot of stuff that's already ahead of time. You said there's a lot of stuff that you got already planned out. Would there be any plans in the future of, like, for fans asking for certain type of content, or like you'd ask them, hey, is there something you'd like to see in the future, a specific type of
definitely
topic?
Like, one thing I started last week, which was this clip of the week thing, which actually worked out pretty good, because
with the Chitara one, I like how that was with the
But that what was crazy about that was like, well, let's see how this experiment goes. And it was just like YouTube's such a fascinating thing. I uploaded it, and within the first hour, it's like 13 views, and I was like, well, this is a piece of shit. And then, but within I don't know 6 hours, it had 2,700 views, and I was like, oh, okay. But then it stopped. And it was like, well, that's really weird. So it's obviously, you know, the way YouTube treats shorts or certain things. People see it, but then people won't click on the subscribe button. So if anything, I upload this clip to test how this goes. And it was an experiment that showed, wow, a lot of views came in, but not necessarily that. It's all such wanky, not necessarily the engagement came through. But what it does show me that is that, this could be a good way. I think it's for the people that follow the channel and subscribe, it's a good way to show really cool clips, like you say, Joe. Like the Chitara one was a cool clip, and like I think, going back to your point or your question, is that I want to do something where I ask people, you know, probably like on Patreon or whatever, and just say like, hey, which of these cartoons do you want to see a clip from? Like start it off like that, just at that level, and then hopefully in time, because I think my brain, like I say, is so kind of, I get so obsessed with certain things. I've got my schedule in place all the way up until next year. Like every video, maybe like one or two are missing, but it's like, yeah, that's up until December of 2023. Everything's kind of planned.
Wow.
And I've already recorded most video, or the audio, so me waffling for each video essay. So most of those are done. So it's just a case of sitting down for days and weeks and editing the videos together. But that stuff is pretty much done. But I kind of want to get to a point where those videos are there. And so I say to people, what do you want to see next week? And they'll say like, oh, I don't know, a Ninja Turtles video. And I was like, okay, well, I've got one there. I'll just bring that forward and do it like that. So I've almost got like a library of stuff that I can pull from.
Okay. Yeah, because
So
I
I
was going to
think
say those shorts. I guess that was a question I was going to say, since you brought it up anyways. The engagement on that is very different than just a normal, YouTube video,
Yeah.
of like comments, how it is. Some people don't even know you can comment, and I know they're quick. Does it seem like that has brought more people to your channel and subscribed, or like, I was just curious how the engagement goes with that. It seems different. It's good because you get a lot of views quickly, but I didn't know, hopefully it could bring eyes to you. I don't know. How does that go?
No, I mean, like, it was the first video to get like a certain ratio of dislikes. So I was like, oh, right, okay. I think it was, 89 or 60 something likes to 10 dislikes or something like that.
Wait, 10 people dislike that video?
Yeah, because it probably just shows up on their mobile phone. They're like, what's this shit or whatever, or whoever, you don't know who's saying it.
I still get it. I thought it was cool as shit. I thought it was really fucking fascinating to see that.
That's because you like 80s cartoons, but you've got to understand there's probably some old bloke on there or some young kid going, oh, that's like one of those rubbish things. This isn't Minecraft. That's probably out of date. That's a probably out of date reference now. Hey kids, you like the Minecraft? There's me, Steve Buscemi. Hey kids, what's up? It's I just think it's not. For me, I think it's going to be a good way once a week to show people on the channel, hey, here's a clip from an 80s cartoon, and it allows me to put more content up. But I don't think it's going to be a way to bring new viewers in. Although I went back to, so I had a YouTube channel from 2000, I think I started in 2007 to time when I was launching Serial Geek magazine. So I launched that in 2006, like old YouTube channel, Serial Geek. Some of those videos have got like millions of views. There's one Incredible Hulk video that's got 3.9 million views. And it's like, and there's another one that's got like 1.5 million views, but it's like, I didn't want to go to that channel as well because it had quite a few copyright strikes on it, which is why I started again. But I just think it's going to be one of those things. I just thought with the YouTube thing, I'll upload videos and see how it goes, but it is very much a kind of constant, as you guys know, it's kind of like a constant experiment to see what works, what doesn't work.
Well, you still don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't, because I don't think there is any real secret. I was having a really lengthy discussion with Dušan was it last week? And I came across this guy, and he's obviously internet YouTube famous. Was it like Nikado Avocado or something?
Mm.
And he's
Oh God, I know who that is.
I've never heard of
But this is the thing, right? Like, to most of us, it's like, who? But he, so he started off as like a vegan, I guess, blogger. And he'd be like, oh, here's me making my food. And he got like a big following. And then what happened was he started to put on weight. And it got to the point now where I think he's just hit 400 pounds in weight. Right. So but you can, and there are videos of him like online that he's put up as well of him shitting himself and going like, oh, I've shit myself. And he also has like a multi-million-dollar penthouse in Vegas now from it. And
From
it's just
shitting
that thing-
himself? My God, that might be a hidden talent.
Joe, you're not doing something right, dude.
We're gonna have to
Honestly,
strap the rocket
He
to
literally
Joe
just
on this
eats
channel.
and,
We
like,
gotta go
spits
all in.
on camera. It's a really nasty.
But his videos are called like there's a thing of videos called like mukbangs. Yeah, and it's just people eat horrible amounts, like really
Yeah, I've
offensive.
seen that.
Garbage.
All right.
I can do this.
We're making some format changes to the channel, Tyler. I
put
know
a
you're
whole-
gonna
If
hate it.
you watch,
I guess I'm just gonna have to like just
avocado.
be a yes man for James and Dušan because I have nothing else to bring to that fucking channel. I can't sit and watch Joe, eat and then shit himself,
I would
every
love
week
to
at
eat like
Sunday nights at
crazy.
9:00.
Do that. Get the
Like
A-
Rebecca, how much of his videos have you seen, Rebecca? How many like?
Of like his videos.
Yeah.
I've only heard about him and like I've seen like other people talking about him, like other YouTubers talking about
She
him.
binge
and
watched him like
oh,
Cobra
he's
Kai.
cute.
She was watching that stuff like
Yeah.
crazy.
It's hard to watch. Oh my god, it's
It
so
is.
depressing. It's so depressing. He was so healthy and like
He was like skinny and young, and now
Yeah.
he's a monster of a man. Like, and not, and it's that thing of you get people in the comments when you look at his videos, and it's just there are people that you see a lot of comments of people going like, please get help because you are heading for an early grave, and he is 400 pounds, and it's not
he
like
has, what is it called? The thing people have in their nose to help them
Oh,
breathe. He has
yeah,
to
so-
have that in his nose now.
that's how he sleeps now, and how sometimes he spends his days with like an oxygen thing on. It's just like, what the hell?
I know.
But he would argue, but I'm a multi-millionaire now. But it's like, at what cost, man? One, how is history going to remember you? Like, history remembers like Einstein, or history remembers like entertainers or famous, like, you know what I'm saying? People that have brought entertainment or something to it. History books going to, even if he is mentioned in the hundreds of years from now, it'll be, he was a guy that ate a lot and shat himself. That is, and people will go online and go, oh, there you go. And imagine if he has kids. His kid's going to go, Dad, I found a video of you shitting the bed, and then you showing you like what you did.
Oh, he actually
so-
showed. I thought you were just saying maybe he was just making the
No,
sound.
he lifts the
and-
covers.
No,
and
it's,
he's- and
it's
he's-
all extreme shit. He
He
does.
doesn't
Yeah.
do that in all the videos, does it? It's just like maybe
No.
one
I
or-
think this was like, I would say it's a one-off, but I think he does defecate himself on many an
Aw.
occasion.
So nasty.
That's-
On purpose? Like he just sits there and just
No,
like,
no,
oh,
no.
wait,
It's
wait.
just
He just won't turn off the camera. If he's
It's
eating
just-
all this junk shit, like spicy ass shit, and then he shits himself, he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna turn off the camera." It's
All right.
it's really it's
We gotta
It's
make
kind
a
of-
new
it makes
channel
you
for
never
Joe.
want to like look at junk food again. Watching his
but
videos.
the other thing is, like, the fact, one, we're talking about it, and two, the fact that millions of people watch his videos kind of proves that he must be onto or must have been onto something at some point.
It's that humans wanting to watch that train wreck.
It's utter car crash television where you're like, I can't believe. I as Rebecca said, like she said, not actually watched his videos. I found his where it was like a video all about his career. And I was watching it going like, my God, like what? How is my channel going to succeed? Where it's like, I talk about 80s cartoons. Do you want to hear the history of 80s cartoons? Or would you like to see me shit myself? Okay, we'll do that. We'll do the latter. Ready? You got to play the sound now. Where's the sound? Make the sound happen.
Damn it.
Daddy wants the sound.
And then Dušan does like an upscale of James shitting himself.
Oh, there he goes. He's at it again. Oh.
Wait, hang
No,
on.
but you're right, James. I'm glad
Let's-
that you chose to do something that people can remember and enjoy, because the content that you're delivering is something that you don't see too often. Sure, you'll see some people that'll act like they know absolutely everything about something, and you can tell they just Google search the shit out of it. But you've been researching
Sorry.
this for a very long time, and
But
that's something to be.
I may have yanked it too much, maybe.
I can't pay attention. Whatever.
Joe's such a jerk off.
One thing I want to ask James, since we're kind of, in the first few months of your channel, is you were talking about the ratio of dislikes. How has it been so far in the comments section of your videos? Has that been kind of treacherous or?
No, so the funny thing was, and that's why I knew my channel wasn't popular, because I had 100% likes from like 1 to 5, 100% likes, and no dislikes, and all the comments were really lovely. There was one critical comment where the guy said, "In your Ninja Turtles video, I kind of got a bit tired of the fact that you kept using the title card." And I was like, "Fair point. I'm not going to change that, but that's a fair point. That's valid criticism." And then was it last weekend? I woke up to my first, and it's not even a negative comment. It's just like, okay, and it made me laugh. So I thought, well, you're talking to someone who's, been a master of self-deprecation all his life, so you're not going to offend me. And he basically called me Discount Joel Egerton, and so I replied, and I said. I can't remember what I initially said, but I said, no, surely a modern reference would be when you order Joel Egerton on Wish and I arrive instead. I was like, surely that's a more modern one, right?
Yeah.
And the person liked the comment. So, or someone did anyway. But I thought, I wonder if, and that was my first video that had one negative on. I thought, I wonder if that was him, like where he was just like, fucking Joel Egerton knockoff dislike. It's like, so I did end my comment with him was, did you even watch the video? Or did you just go, this isn't Joel Egerton. I've been duped. It's like,
not to sound like a moron, but who is Joel Egerton? I'm an idiot.
He's in films. Was he in The Fighter? No, he was in a film about fighting. He was in a fighting film. What was he in?
Well, Nathan's on the.
Okay. Yeah, he was in Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior. There we go. I got it right.
Is that the Tom Hardy movie, or is that Bronson?
Yeah. No, Tom Hardy's in Warrior. Yeah, I think they are brothers.
He's in both of them. He's in Bronson and Warrior, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Bronson.
He played young Owen in episode 2 and 3 of Star Wars.
Oh.
So anyway, I'm a
Hey, moving on.
Yeah, that guy, the Uncle Owen.
Yeah,
like Uncle Owen when he's young.
Here, fuck it. Let me just do this since I can do this.
How does anyone think that James is like him? I don't.
I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's try and do a comparison. Can you do a comparison, mate?
Well, I know. I don't know what the guy looks like. He looks nothing like James.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
nothing like
James. See it.
Hang on. The one
I don't see it at all.
There's one. Look at the one.
That one.
Yeah.
Maybe with that one.
I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Nah,
I can
that
kind of
guy's got
see it
squinty.
actually a
That
little
guy
bit.
has squinty eyes.
It's got a strange shape.
James is actually better looking than that dude.
Well, there you go.
Spot on. That's a dead ringer right
There we
there.
go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went into my acting there, and I became Joel Egerton. Got scary. I had to pull myself out. Like,
I mean, talk about some obscure shit to say you're, being this guy or acting like this guy. Like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't think I've
Apparently he's
ever
been
heard.
in stuff we don't watch.
Man,
There's
apparently
gonna
stuff
be-
a lot of people haven't watched. I don't fucking know the guy.
But
Exactly.
going back to Nate's point, that's the thing, though. It's like I kind of thought, if you've got a popular channel, then you're going to get like, a bunch of dislikes and someone going, "You smell like shit," and it's like, okay, cool, man.
But yeah, well, you know what? In the time that we've done this, we haven't gotten really anything like that. But you also have to
kind
think.
of like makes me feel like no wonder we're not popular. No one hates us and dislikes us. And
Well, the whole thing with our channel is it's different from other stuff because you're looking at an hour and a half to 3 hours of just us sitting here talking heads. Like James is in the category that's like it's in the stuff, but it's also offset because it's not a toy review like a Pixel Dan or Toy Galaxy and one of our
also I'm not
buds
making
that I'm not going to
videos.
mention.
I'm not making videos with clickbait titles. Like my Inspector Gadget one is called The Competent Inspector Gadget, or what I should have called it was,
Inspector Gadget shits himself.
Yeah, Inspector Gadget fucks brain, and you're like, what? I've never seen. And so people will click on that and then go, oh wait, this isn't what it's about at all. And it's like, funny that. It's like I lied. The next one I think I'm just going to call Joel Egerton talks about He-Man or something, and just be there.
Yeah, just open your video like that. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Joel Egerton. You may recognise me from such films as The Warriors. No, Warrior.
Yeah, not the Warriors, not the 70s movie.
But yeah, for the most part, I mean, I'm enjoying doing the channel because, like, I've got a love for this stuff, and it's a good creative outlet. Now, it sounds lame, but now that I'm not working on He-Man and She-Ra officially anymore, or haven't done since 2019, this is a really good creative outlet because I can talk about, you know, He-Man, and I can talk about Mask and Ninja Turtles and Dungeons and Dragons and Thundercats and Real Ghostbusters and Trans, all these different shows. And it's really beautiful to... The other thing as well is just like coming up with ideas. I honestly thought when I launched this channel, it was just going to be me going to my Serial Geek magazines and repurposing articles for video. Like, oh, I'll just expand it a little bit and do this. But I think most of the videos on the channel thus far have been ones I've just sat down and gone, okay, I'm going to write a script for a video about this. And that's been really nice to do because it means, oh, whenever I do repurpose a Serial Geek article, it will be, you know, the Inspector Gadget one was originally a Serial Geek article, but I expanded it, brought some new information in, stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, it's so exciting when you kind of go, oh, I've got an idea for a video, and you sit down and you go, I love writing. Obviously, I love writing. It's been my career for many years. But breaking down a video and going, okay, what can I do next? And like I said, I sent it to Dušan, and he's like, oh, change this, do that, try this, do that. And it's just like, yes. And it's the daunting part is the edit, of course, like the actual video and audio edit. Cause it's just like, oh, I've got to make this a reality. But I did one the other week where I was just like, how am I even going to do this? Like, where's my inspiration coming from? And then within 2 days, it was like, oh, I've done it. Yeah, it's just, and that's the beauty of it when you complete it and go, oh wow, I've actually got something that I can look back and be proud of. Like all of my videos thus far, I can happily say I'm so happy with them. Obviously the easiest ones to, well, I say the easiest ones from a production standpoint, I guess, would be the episode commentaries, because it's just me talking. But if anybody's got any idea or should know, I don't do those in one take. It's not like I'm going to sit here and just talk about the cartoon for 20 minutes.
Like we do.
But yeah, it's like I can talk for England, and yeah, you know, everyone does their episode commentaries and stuff. But this is where, like, I want to get certain points across. So I'll be talking, I'll be like, all right, stop there, and I want to talk about this bit now. So sometimes I'm not even necessarily even looking at the episode while I'm doing the episode commentary. And also with He-Man, I know it so well. So I'm like, in this scene, Dragoon does this, and then 3 seconds later, he'll probably do this, you know. So the episode commentaries have been fun. But, and I honestly thought the episode commentaries would be the thing that the people paid least attention to. I thought, are they going to get like 100 views or something? They're getting just as many as the video essays. So it's like, and I've looked at engagement for those, and like people at least make it halfway through. So I'm like, well, that's good, because they probably get halfway through and go, I'm going to go for a piss, and then maybe come back a day or two later. But I thought people are watching the commentaries, and that's, you know, that's all that matters really. I thought the commentaries would be like, oh, not him fucking talking again. It's like, well, you know, here we go.
Well, this actually brings up a good point that we have from Simple Tricks. John, he loves the method of you playing the episode inside the TV with the filter over it. I think that's what plays a bigger part when you do them, and helps with the engagement of actually having the episode there.
Well, yeah, because obviously, you know, the reason for that filter is your job is evil. Understandably, they're like, we don't want you to upload episodes of cartoons. So the test one I did was, it's not for a while yet, but I did an episode of Thundercats of commentary, Safari Joe. So I did the Safari Joe episode. Yeah, Safari Joe does it again. So I did the Safari Joe episode and did the video to it. That was the first one I kind of put together. I'll upload that to YouTube as like a test. And it uploads, and there's like I said to Dušan the other day, I said, there's like a little mini victory when it passes copyright check. You're like, yes, I didn't get copyright struck. Because if anyone's ever uploaded videos to YouTube, you get 4 sections these days. It's like uploading, then it's like this, and then it's like, I forget what the second one is, but the next one is copyright check. Like, will they take the video down? The Thundercats one I uploaded, it just said, this section of this video has been copyright struck. And I was like, oh, shit. So then I added the filter, and that took care of it. And I was like, huh. And someone said, you know, why don't you have, like, you know, more audio from the episode when you're doing the commentary? And it's like, because if I start leaning into having, you know, sequences where He-Man's saying, I have the power, the evil AI that all these companies have is going, hang on, we just heard I have the power in that clip. Let's copyright strike it. It's that easy for some of these AI technology things to piece or to seek out. And I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand why it's done. It's frustrating because at the moment my videos aren't monetized. Every once in a while I see an ad pop up and it's like, well, I'm not getting any money from these videos, so what the hell? But yeah, I just it's the reason for the filter is to kind of protect myself, but it kind of adds to it slightly. And if nobody's brought it up yet, but one thing we added was that when you watch the video in the 20-minute section, it goes from early morning to daytime. So if you look at the screen around it, it starts off dark, and then in the space of 20 minutes, it actually goes light.
Nice.
So I was just like,
was that an idea of Grim? Did he have that idea, or was that your idea?
We can let Grim answer.
Yeah, go on.
Yes, it was.
All right.
Yes.
I knew it. I had a feeling.
And it was just like a nice transition of time, and yeah, it's just such fun stuff to do that. Like, you know, all the little. You know, like I said before, I can't remember if I said it to you guys, but all the VHS tapes around the TV are just fake. They're all ones that I looked at all the UK VHS releases, and I designed those spines based on UK VHS releases. So anybody in the UK watching those videos would be like, I don't remember the video collection releasing.
You had a lot of people saying, I don't know where you got that.
Yeah, people were like, where'd you get that from? And it's because I just thought that'd be a fun little thing, like a little Easter egg for people to look at and go, they released, you know, that volume of Galaxy High, because in the UK we've got 2 volumes of Galaxy High, but I've presented us with a 3rd one. And yeah, just little things like that. You know, I've always got a tendency to overdo things in videos, but throughout these YouTube videos, I've kind of reined it in where I'm not doing Easter eggs or captions every 5 minutes. I've got a photo of me in an upcoming video where I've got my braids, and it just comes up, yes, I had braids for 3 years or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, I just thought, I'll throw that in just in case people are like, why is he showing a white kid with braids? So it's this white kid with braids. That's why.
Well, I'm going to try to engage Dušan for a second because he hasn't talked much.
Please.
But I don't know if we ever asked him this before, and hopefully it'll be something he can respond to in more than 3 words. But
I don't know.
But Dušan, how did you, from the beginning, get in touch with James? How did this whole connection start with you two?
Great question.
Well, he on human.org.
This is so creepy. Okay.
Down there, he's been saving it for when he would talk. Go ahead.
Back on human.org in early 2007 or so, he posted about having music.
He can't even keep himself together doing it.
That's just too freaky. Oh, God.
Is that Dušan laughing?
I think it is.
I was gonna say I don't ever picture the guy laughing at anything. Like that's amazing.
He's been saving that for when he would talk. Unbelievable. I didn't know he had nothing left. Oh, try to talk.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
He posted about having voices to Masters of the Universe audio. So I contacted him, told him that I can extract the music, that I can piece them piece by piece. And
it sounds like Joe's like doing like an authentic Italian, like.
My highlight is Dušan making himself laugh.
Oh God! Yeah,
He's
I'll
been there
never.
bottled up. He's been holding this. He's like waiting the whole time, like, please ask me a question,
so
please,
good.
and then boom.
It's so good.
But no, go ahead. Try to collect yourself. How did you guys get in contact again? You said.
I mean, if it helps, Grim, just put the jerking off motion back on Joe.
Oh yeah, he one time posted about having voices music tracks,
and that's how we met.
You said it was from the music tracks. You said
voiceless episode tracks.
Okay.
He posted about having those. He posted a clip of some episode clip without any voices. So I contacted him. I sent him some Transformers music that I extracted using voiceless audio. He was impressed. He asked for some if I have some Spider-Man and Amazing Friends cues, I sent him that as well, and then we started using those voiceless episode audio to extract all the music, and then the YouTube channel began, and we started doing for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot in between there. Like, I think it was me was the idiot where I said, let's do. Oh, because obviously, yeah, we did the Dušan worked heavily with me on the official He-Man YouTube channel. We did that for what 3 years or something like that, and then I was the idiot that said, should we do like a little faker cartoon? And then and then it grew.
I mean, how did you even know he did animation? Like, I mean, I know you were expecting audio stuff.
Because he'd done he did one. I remember. I think I probably still don't. I don't have the email anymore. But he sent me an image in email, and it was like of this weirdly coloured Prince Adam, and it was like, wow, that's looked really cool because it was like he traced the Adam in the transformation pose, but it was like a weird negative version. I was like, what's this for? And then I think he sent me another clip, and it was He-Man at Castle Grayskull, but all the colours were off. And I thought, like, oh, I don't think my email's handling these colours very well. And that was him basically teasing the original anti-Eternia He-Man shorts he did for YouTube. So he did the first one, and that was where I was like, oh, wow. I think before then he may have done a couple of He-Man walk cycles on DeviantArt, but I was like, oh, he's really good at this. Tracing always sounds like an insult, but I mean, like, you know, his ability to re-render. There we go. Yeah. Re-render this artwork, and he did such a good job. And I was still one of my favorite Dušan jokes ever was when I said to him, "Oh, let me trace. I can probably help you out with the Return of Faker." And he was like, "I'll give you a test." And I was like, "Makes sense. You know, I can draw.
I know
I
you
can
failed
trace.
that fucking thing.
Yeah. How can you fail tracing? Anyone can trace." And then I did this test, and like I did I think a few different tests, like, and I was like, I can't quite get the line weight right, and he was like, yeah, try this brush, try that brush. I was like, okay. I think I did 6 different tests, and even I was looking at them going, this is really shit. I can't do this. The next thing he sends back is a video looped of all 6 faces that I traced. So it's the same He-Man face, but you know, slightly different. And he put the music to Take On Me in the background. So it was but it worked so perfectly because remember that video was obviously all that kind of moving pencil animation. It looked like I was doing the Take On Me version with He-Man. It was just the way he sent that to me. And I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
and Dušan, your anti-Eternia He-Man video, didn't that do really well on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken?
God.
Yeah, it did pretty fairly.
Yeah, like
did very well.
I want to say thank you for doing that because I don't know how long has that video been up, like since, like from the time that you upload, because I just felt like for the longest time I'd go back and watch those 2 clips, and of course I had no idea who you were until like James would mention you in the videos, and then eventually it would evolve of like what you were responsible for. But how long had that been up, or how long has those 2 clips been up?
Probably close to a decade now.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Yeah, there's people that still thought that was real.
Yeah,
I've seen people that said, "Oh my god, I didn't know there was anti-Eternia in a cartoon." They thought that was real. It looks that official.
Yeah, even though it's in widescreen.
What's that?
Oh, that's right.
Even though it's in widescreen.
Yeah, he did it in widescreen. Yeah.
And I liked your colors that you used for I think even anti-Eternia Prince Adam. Didn't you?
That was badass.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
God, I would buy a figure of that. Well, of course, not an origin style. Fuck that. But,
it's like,
you know,
check yourself there, Tyler. What the hell?
I mean, if like, you know, Brian Flynn was like, "Hey, we're gonna, you know, reuse Prince Adam again," and like, and wanted to do that version, the fuck yeah, I'd buy that. You know, instead we get fucking laughing mean Prince Adam. You know, Dušan, what do you think about laughing mean Prince Adam? I'm just curious.
Here we go.
I mean, I'm just be honest with me. You know, I just, you know, I won't get my feelings hurt.
I would smash it. I would smash
it. He has a number.
Tyler, do it again,
what?
Man. No, you weren't looking at the screen when you were saying he would smash it.
Unreal.
Oh God, Joe's an infinite source of joy.
I mean, yeah, he kind of is, right? Thanks, Joe, for everything you've done.
Yeah, no problem. Look at that. Without even talking, I guess because I have to be animated since you guys can't see my face. But I didn't realize I do this much shit until he was showing all that. I have to. Well, I've always talked with my hands. Half Italian, in the family we do talk with our hands a lot. But I didn't realize all that shit. All right, James is back. We're done talking.
I was over there. I was just looking through some books, and I was laughing at because I've got about the 10-second delay.
Wait, so you missed the smashing thing he said?
No, I saw the smashing thing.
Oh, you did? Oh, did the 10 seconds delay? Oh, okay.
I was like looking at the telly as I was doing it, and I just see I see HD Joe going crazy, and I was like, oh, HD.
Am I still just as grainy? My version?
Oh yeah.
Not as bad.
It's not like so. It's something Joe was saying. Am I a virgin?
What? How did that sound like it went grainy? Huh?
We know Joe ain't no virgin. We know Joe has plenty of illegitimate children all across parts unknown.
And I turned into Pop. I need to ask Joe a question.
Sure.
Which actually relates to what I just said, oddly. You're obviously, as an aficionado and a shareholder in it, do you know what the status is with Popeye's chicken in the UK at all? Like, has there been?
I didn't know you guys had any. You guys got some?
No. There was talk of it coming over. I thought, like, you may have stopped doing that whilst you're thinking about.
No, I heard some locations in Canada were popping up. They got some people excited because different ones, but I didn't know there was someone coming to the UK. Oh my God! Did you say you did have some when you came here? You did try?
Every time I've had it. The first time I had it was in New York. That was the first time I had it, and then every time I've been to LA, I always have it. That's why I always come back to LA fatter than the last time I went.
Isn't that shit fantastic? You got to do the hot sauce honey combination. You got to put that on all your chicken. You'll lose your shit.
That was very, very good, Joe.
Yeah, see, it's a great combination.
I did that at the Chick-fil-A place.
Yeah,
I did that.
Yeah, with the legs, the thighs, the breasts, everything. I mean, it goes with everything. Here's the one that James, don't smile. No, it does go with everything, but this is something I just tried today.
A strip club.
That's like, I've been there.
I tried it with just some ripped up chicken off of a roasted chicken. God damn it! So what I did was I ripped up some pieces of. God damn it! I ripped up some pieces of some roasted chicken. I put it in a Ziploc bag. I can't even do this. Did he fall?
I really love so much of that photo.
What I did was I took
we need some club music playing with that meme.
I don't think I got it.
It's some free shit. Nothing that get us copyright stricken. Oh, he took it down now. Okay. All right. So what I did, James, is I took a roast chicken.
I can try this.
Okay.
Oh, so he's going to start dancing.
It takes forever to get going, though. But maybe once the beat drops. There you go. Now.
Yeah, do the dance.
They're rolling in there, Dušan.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's not doing it.
We're doing the show.
Works.
What is that dance called?
I was doing the Joe run. We gotta stop.
This is great. Oh, okay. Doing the Joe. I love that.
What I just did today was I had some ripped up roasted chicken. I put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I got that Cheetos macaroni that I've been talking about with the powder, and I shook half of that in there, shook up the bag, and I let it marinate it overnight. Then this morning, I took it out again. Then I put some breadcrumbs in there, shook it up. Then I took on a recommendation from somebody. I took some flour and the rest of that Cheetos powder mixed together, and I fried it up. And I fried that chicken as a batter with Cheetos powder. It was fantastic. Oh my God, I just did that too. I think it was it, but it was fantastic. It was great. Okay, I'm done talking about it.
Simple Trick says, "Can we get an eat-in episode? Everyone eating Popeyes and streaming." Maybe not Tyler, but I would be happy.
No, I ain't doing that.
I'll get some Popeyes and eat it with Joe on the show.
You can send it to me, and I'll eat whatever. How old it is when it arrives.
Okay.
It'll be dried up, but it could still be good. Shit. Okay. I don't even know where I went because we got so. I think Nathan was asking something and I cut him off. I don't even know what happened.
And where the hell was I?
The moment where I had that happen, I have never went blank. But go ahead, Nathan.
James says, since he's wanting to cover a broad spectrum of cartoons, is there anything in mind that it's something you're like, I'm never gonna do anything on that property?
I don't know. It's almost like Dušan may know the answer to this better than I do. I'm trying to think of a cartoon that he knows I outwardly dislike, and that maybe I've forgotten. I don't know. A cartoon.
How about Dino Saucers? That's a really obscure 80s cartoon.
But I always like to think, oh, I'll cover something at some point, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I guess there are some shows that just aren't on my radar. Someone will say something like, are you ever going to cover, you know, Mr. Wuggles? And I'm like, what the hell is that? What the hell is Mr. Wuggles? I don't know if there's a show. Is there a Mr. Wuggles? Is there Wuggles? Wuggles?
Not that I'm aware of.
But yeah, there's like someone will come up with like a random show, and it's like, but I don't know. For the most part, I'd like to cover. I want to cover the shows that I'm passionate about. But obviously, I you know, as someone creating YouTube content about celebrating 80s cartoons, I do need to cover. You know, I'd like to think I can cover everything. But,
it's just not 80s. It's like, you know, 70s, 80s, 90s, even stuff before you hit.
That's the thing. Like one of the videos coming is at some point next year, Spider-Woman from 1978 or 9, and I want to do Fantastic Four, which was 19 before that. And I also want to do the Marvel 66 shows and the Spider-Man from 67.
Yeah.
So I love those cartoons. The Marvel superhero shows, I grew up on those. That's how I was introduced to Jack Kirby, Don Heck, Stan Lee, obviously, all these kind of creators back in the day. So I really, really want to cover those. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Should I give James? We only did it the one time when we had
the
a guest
rapid
on.
questions.
Should I give him the rapid fire questions?
Do it. Right when you said that, I knew what you were going to ask. Yep, go ahead.
All right.
One answer, or one word answer, or
Yeah, you can elaborate as much as you want to on it. All right. King Grayskull has the power or total bullshit?
2002, yes. Now, no.
Who is the most underutilized heroic warrior, and why is it Lizard Man?
Oh god, I'm turning these into not so rapid fire answers.
No, that's fine.
Most underutilized heroic warrior. I mean, it goes by preference, though, doesn't it? I mean, the UK comics did so much with him, but I was like, Cyclone should have. I mean, if I'm talking about Filmation, Cyclone would have been a good one with him.
More badass duo, Jitsu and Clawful, or every time I mess this up, Cobra Khan and Web Store.
Sorry, what was the question?
More badass duo, Jitsu and Clawful, Cobra Khan and Web Store. Which duo is more badass?
Oh, Cobra Khan and Web Store.
And finally, should Frank Langella have won an Oscar for Skeletor?
Even though I don't care for the movie, that is a pretty awesome performance. But it's, yeah.
Mind your words there, bud.
Oh, he stopped. Yeah.
I stopped right when he did instinctively.
No, like I've said before, like the movie, I hated it when I was a kid because I was like, what is this? I always loved Stout's designs because I had that Starlog special?
It was a Starlog like magazine though. Yeah. Movie magazine.
With the posters and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought that back in the day and I loved it because I was like, wow, because the Stout drawings were fantastic. But yeah, I just and then I saw the movie and I was like, ugh. And then it wasn't until it was like PowerCon 2017 when they showed the Power of Grayskull documentary, at least like the first version that had Gary Goddard in it. That one doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, there was the Gary Goddard version of the Master of the Universe, of the documentary. I remember watching it and hearing all these people speak about it, thinking, I need to go back and watch that. And I mean, I think after PowerCon, went round to Lee's one evening when I was in Los Angeles, and we sat down. And I was like, let's watch the live action movie. And I was like, that's a lot better than I expected. You know, I hate the fact that it's on Earth. Oh God, for a second I thought it was another me. I picked up in there. I was like, oh.
No, I figured I would change it and put him in the center.
That terrified me. Yeah, I was just like, oh no, now there's going to be a me as well doing things. and it would just be this, wouldn't it? Like, yeah. So, yeah. And then I watched the live action movie. And I was like, oh, I actually quite like it now. I still can't stand the fact that most of it takes place on Earth, but the fact that also like a lot of the locations around there I've been to but haven't known, where they filmed a lot of it in LA. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
didn't realize that was the movie location. So I don't know, just one of those things.
What is it that, because I always enjoy when people who hate it before, but then they come around to appreciate it. Like, what is it that really stuck out to you that, you know, as a child and even growing up, where you're like, you know, and then like, okay, I get it now. Like, what is it that sticks out the most, you know, that you feel like you overlooked and definitely appreciate more?
I think the story, I was just like, oh, this is garbage. And then I kind of really liked the story. And I liked the performances of, you know, like the main characters, like Man at Arms, Teela, and even He-Man. You know, obviously it's Lundgren doing the best he can. But no, I was surprised, yeah, how much I enjoyed the actual story of it. I still don't care for the fact, you know, of like Kevin and Thingy on Earth, and Lubick's great. We like Lubick, but yeah. just not my cup of tea. Like Emiliano really likes it. Santa Lucia. Emiliano really likes it, but it was just I think it was too much of a departure from what I'd grown up with. And I'm not just talking Filmation. I remember at the same time, like the mini comics, the Bruce Timm mini comics, the action figures at the time, the Horde, all this stuff. It was also cool. And then I was like, what is this? Just like it felt like such a departure. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. But I can see like you know, I went to obviously Grayskull Con in 20. I went to numerous Grayskull Cons, but one of the most recent ones I went to was like 2016 or 2017 maybe. And that he's the guy who collects all the great movie memorabilia and
all
stuff.
The outfits and things like that too.
Oh, Martin. Oh, I forgot his second name all of a sudden. Oh, that's really annoying. Sorry, Martin, if you ever watched this. But yeah, he had the Skeletor. Like he had the evil.
I didn't realize I had mute. I've been talking and nobody was listening. I was like, why the fuck is he not listening to me? I kept saying Martin Ruffner.
There we go. Martin Ruffner.
Yeah, he's ignoring me. And I was like, oh, I forgot to hit mute when that fucking phone rang. Son of a bitch. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that's, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
That is the best one. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, because he did that life-size Grizzlor outfit, and I think he even auctioned that off a while back or sold it. What an amazing piece!
He's such a talent. Like the first one I ever saw of his was Beastman. That was like his Beastman costume was phenomenal. He had the cooling system in there, and it was just like,
that
what?
was cool shit. But I mean, I think the reason the Grizzlor really struck me is because it looked like an actual action figure.
I've got a photo where when he first came out and he stood there, and I was just like, oh my God, you stood like the action figure. He had like the bow legs slightly and the arms out. I was like, that's just ridiculous. But he collected all the movie memorabilia. So the first Grayskull Con was in 2011. He had the Evil Lyn costume. And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And obviously, Evil Lyn, like, there's no doubt about that. She's probably one of, if not the best thing about the movie. Meg Foster, just what a performance. Years later,
I met some of the blasters too, and the weapon. I thought he had some of the weapons.
Yeah, he had all the blasters and all that stuff. And then every year you went to Grayskull Con, he'd have more stuff. And then the year I went, where he had the Skeletor costume, I was just like, oh my God, because he had the He-Man one in 20. I think it was 2012. He had the He-Man costume.
Oh yeah, we had that on that mannequin, right? Didn't you have that on the mannequin or something? Yeah.
But you saw all the detail in it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" There was so much detail you didn't see.
Yep.
And when I saw the Skeletor costume, that was even more. So I was like, "There was purple on the costume." It was crazy. You see all these minor details.
I like the up close details, the emblems and stuff, the stuff on the shoulder pads, because it's things that you couldn't see as up close in the movie or even in pictures. Yeah.
Even in like HD quality, you know, releases, Blu-ray release, whatever, you're not going to pick up that level of detail. And it was just to see that in person, just like, wow, that's incredible. But sorry, that sprung off from the Langella should have won an Oscar. But it's just one of those things. I can understand why people like it. I get it totally, but it's just never been my cup of tea or cup of coffee.
Well, how about we get to the chat so they can have some questions for you? I'm sure we'll have, hopefully, a lot of questions that will pop up for James or Dušan, because he's a real fucking chatterbox. So if you guys have any questions, pop it up.
He's busy. Look, he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
I guess
you can't interrupt him when he's in his stride.
We could address some of the news that was announced. I hate to say that I was correct, but Mattel, they're going through with the Mattel Creations project for the Eternia playset.
I'll go get some water.
Is he avoiding this conversation?
Do what?
Is he avoiding this conversation?
I think so. But I'll go ahead and.
Really?
What is that thing? Oh, I see. It's
have
like
no-
there's like an explosion and it's an error and the screen goes black.
This is the part that looks like a serial killer. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
if you get flashed.
All right. So they decided they're going to do Mattel's Creation. It's going to be $550 with a surcharge of $50. So you're looking at $600. And a lot of people are obviously put off by it. And the window to get this going is less than a month. So I guess the biggest question.
Thanks, Rob David.
I think it starts the 12th and ends like November 9th or something. The chat can correct me if I'm incorrect in this.
God.
I'm like, for that amount of money with that such small window, because the HasLab stuff, because people are comparing it to that, but I'm like, HasLab runs way longer than that. At least give people time to fund it. So the question for all of you, do you think this is gonna, at this price point, is it gonna get funded? Are there enough Master Universe fans to make it happen?
Yep. It'll 100% get funded. And then 5 years later, you'll see a bunch of them pop up on eBay where it's like, oh, or a bunch of people buy it, and there'll be a section of people complaining that they had to buy it because someone had a gun to their head going, you will buy this. So Mattel, as a $1 billion company, do whatever the fuck you want to take advantage of people, because you are a company. You're a company, you're a business. Do whatever you can to make money. And that's what they're doing. They're going to make so much money. The profit on each of these places, so much money. If people want to help them, go ahead, like do it. Like I'm not saying I think it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, yeah, if you want to, but you have to. Some of these fans have to take responsibility. If you think it's too expensive, don't fucking buy it.
Exactly.
There's no law that says you have to own everything ever. I understand the desire of Eternia because everybody wanted it when they was a kid. And they couldn't afford it. Well, I mean, it was so hard to get anyway. And then when they could afford it, it was ridiculous. But there's no law that says you have to own everything. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a collector, but obviously I'm not a collector of toys. I'm a collector of animation art or various bits of He-Man merchandise, He-Man and She-Ra merchandise. But there are times when I'm just like, okay, step back. Here's the line. I'm going to be this side a bit. I'm going to admire it from afar. And don't get me wrong, there are times, even as recently as a month ago, where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have bought that, but hopefully I can turn this into something where it'll be really awesome for the YouTube channel and whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If
But
I had the money, I definitely.
Sorry, Joe.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was going to say, if I had the money, I mean, I would get it too, to be honest. You got to think, there is a lot of tooling. I mean, I'm going to honestly say I'm not a complete expert on injection molding and steel molds and all the math and business-wise, how some people believe they're experts on.
But Joe, hang on. You own a YouTube channel. That makes you an expert instantly.
Oh, yeah.
That's the rule.
It's annoying. I just don't like when people act like they know all the ins and outs of fucking business when they don't. When you look at the amount of pieces that this is going to have, first the 3 giant towers itself, then all the other pieces that are going to be inside Central Tower. You're going to have a moving elevator. You're going to have the whole track. You're actually going to finally have motorized parts for this. This isn't mass retail, so they can't lower the price as much as it would probably be at retail. It'd be a little bit lower. This is limited to 5,000. Of course, it's going to cost more. I mean,
the goal is 5,000. They can exceed that, of course.
Well, I know, but okay, yeah, they could exceed that, but yeah, the goal is 5,000. But we've seen it where there's been giant action figures that have gone $600 to $800. It's like, oh, that makes sense, but a fucking 3 tower set, play set with tracks, with moving parts, with tons of shit. Injection steel molds, those things are not fucking cheap. They can go from 8,000 to 80,000 on injection molds. Look at all the parts that's going to be involved in this. This isn't something as simple as just one thing. It's a lot. So I just don't like when anybody, and believe me, I'm not an expert either. but I'm not going to claim to be an expert, and that's why this should be either less or more. Because I've even had some people say, well, when you factor in the price of inflation, $90, that would be $240. It's like, okay, true, but again, that was mass retail, so we know it won't be that cheap. Then some people say it's too expensive. Some people it says it's perfect. Nobody knows the fucking defining thing unless you work at these companies. And that's what annoys me. And as for an incentive figure, whether it's King Grayskull from NYP or Revelation, I think that's the wrong move. If anything, it should have been Hero. Hero is the character that we would have got back then. He would have been part of that whole line, as you know, and he would have fit in perfectly. So if you want a good incentive figure, why wasn't it Hero? Or a better looking He-Man and Skeletor? Something that makes people want to jump on that first week to get that incentive figure. King Grayskull, I'm not hearing people do backflips. And again, that's either version. But Hero would have made most sense. That's just a quick rant. I'm not an expert, but I just don't like when people act like they're expert. When
I agree with you, Joe.
I'm in this weird space where it's like, all right, I would love to have an attorney playset. You look at the prices for vintage on eBay, and I'm like, well, it would just be cheaper to go this way, and at least I would have it complete and etc. So I'm leaning towards it, but it's like James says, you know, it's up to you to call that line. And also, to the people out there listening, you don't have to, the shit that we say and other channels say, telling you you should buy this or you shouldn't buy, especially like the toy collector YouTubers that they want to make this big hissy fit about everything. It's like, everyone out there, spend your money how you want to spend your money. If it brings you joy, do it. Who gives a shit what we think? Or...
I mean, who gives a shit if they blast anything retro or anything like that? You have the right to spend the money however you want there.
Exactly.
You know,
I think the problem I have slightly with it, and it's the same problem I had with HasLabs, is that we are talking about billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
And people will say, yeah, but you have to understand business and da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, I understand business. I also understand this is a billion-dollar company that, you know, I understand that they don't want to obviously overly mass produce, but they must have an idea of how many they're going to sell. Otherwise, they'll be doing this in the first place. So surely they can say, if we budget this much, we can do this. But yeah, I mean, you know, obviously it's a quicker way to sell an item rather, you know, why don't they do this with all their figures? You know, Origins, Masterverse. I you know, again, I'm no toy expert. This is for the Pixel Dans and all those people of the world who know their shit about toys. I don't know enough. All I know is that if I was a hardcore collector, I probably would get it. But I'm not a hardcore collector. But I also think to advise the PSA, just be careful. Like, you don't have to own this. If you don't own it, no one will think less of your collecting. If you don't own it, no one will think you're less of a fan. It's fine. Yeah. You don't have to own it. Right, but if you want to own it, if you want to spend that money, go for it. But don't turn around and say, I spent this much on it. It's like, that was your choice. Like, unless
if you have the money, more power to you. Get whatever you want. It's just, I mean, I was literally seeing people posting online saying this should only be $100 to $150. I'm like, you fucking delusional, really?
Yeah,
100 to 100. That's when it goes to one extreme of it's too less or it's too much or however they justify it. I'm like, it's insane. Like, everybody else better prepare too, and it's going to be well worth it. And let's see if people complain about this. Remember, Mondo's Battle Cat is coming up. In a couple days?
Know.
Yeah, the timing of both of those is like, that's kind of shitty for people.
That does suck. It's like,
I'm
oh my god.
I'm still recovering from getting the She-Ra and He-Man from Mondo, so it's like, Jesus.
Right. I immediately was thinking about the Mondo collectors.
But I got the He-Man, but.
Yeah, and I know you guys were collecting them all. I was like, oh, you want to bet? I bet you that Battle Cat's going to be $400 to $500. And you know what?
Probably.
It'll probably be well worth it. If you got the money, get that.
It's been almost $300 for both She-Ra and He-Man, so.
So, yeah, what do you think, Battle Cat? That is a big son of a bitch.
Easily.
Yeah, exactly. $300 easily, if not more. But you know what? If you have the money, get it. It can be worth it. And if you can't get it,
dude, I saw the prototype for that thing. It's huge.
Right. It's just like, don't knock collectors who might want to get that, because there's people that can't afford it. They're going to get it. Enjoy it. Who gives a shit?
It goes to the whole thing. Just collect what you want. Like, screw everybody else. Who gives a shit?
No, but at the same time, like, if you don't collect Origins, if you don't collect Masterverse, that doesn't make you any less of a fan. Like, I've had people go, you know, I've told you before, I think I told you in the last episode, where someone was like literally calling me out for not collecting Origins. It's like, I thought you liked He-Man. It's like, I do. I just don't have to own everything. Yeah, it's like,
I just like good He-Man to collect.
Well, it's not so much that. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like, I'm not a fan of Origins or Masterverse. That's just a personal preference. but don't tell me that I'm less of a fan because I don't collect it. It's like, oh yeah, I haven't done much in the last 20-something years, you know, in terms of research and finding stuff and writing stuff and publishing stuff, etc., etc., etc. And it's bizarre that people turn around. But this, like I say, the one person, or one of the persons who said this, messaged me privately and apologized and said, because of who you are, if you don't collect, I feel that says something about my collecting. And it's like, don't look at me as a fucking benchmark. You know, what do you call it? I think we said this last time on the podcast.
Put James Eatock on a pedestal.
Not a pedestal, like a barometer. You know, when it's like, he's not collecting. Why is he not collecting? These are great. Clearly, he's not collecting them. He thinks they're shit. Therefore, I'm collecting his shit, but they can't be shit.
That's thinking way too much into what other people like and don't like. Who cares?
But that is modern. I would argue that that's modern social media.
It
is like, you know, you don't, as we saw, you know, for instance, you don't like Revelation. Just not my favorite cartoon. You don't like the Princesses of Power. No, not my favorite cartoon. Well, you're not a fan. It's like, no, I have a different preference for that.
Yet they can hate New Adventures, and that's okay, though. You know,
they can hate the live action movie, and then they just continue to shit on that film. Like, and since when does collecting modern stuff make you a legitimate fan? Like, I've never understood that. It seems to be the same way with superheroes, with you know, anything. Like, if you're a student of the mythology from like Star Wars to Star Trek to Marvel to DC to 80s, 90s, whatever, like, unless you're like in the modern shit, like if you, it's like if you, oh fuck, I'm just like I can't. You know, like,
I always think of that Mo quote. I'm choking on my own rage here.
I know, but I just feel like that's the measuring stick now. That unless you collect modern turtles that's seen on the shelf in Walmart, not the NECA stuff or the high end collectible stuff, but just the modern like animated bullshit, like, then you're not a fan. Like I don't like how the hell. It takes a lot of like. Well, of course, everyone's is tough behind a fucking keyboard. You know, anybody that can send a message to James Private and say you're not a fan because you don't collect this modern day bullshit. Like, what kind of a fucking fan are you anyway?
Yeah, it's like, you know, but that's the thing. It's like people are allowed to have their opinions. It's just that sometimes your opinion sucks, and it's
and that's why I just sent Nathan 3 photos, because there's something that I wanted to talk about. And again, if people like this figure, again, more power to them. But there's something that I have to bring up on aesthetically, how some things can look really crappy at times, and I don't know how anybody could justify some of the looks.
I'm gonna guess I know what this is, given that Dušan sent me a photo about a day or two ago, and I was like,
yeah, and I want everybody else here to see this as well. That's why when they get to see it, and of course you know what is probably going to pop up here, but I look at it and I just don't understand. Okay, look at this Shira. Now, this is what I was trying to say with this torso cut that they like doing with a lot of these figures. Yeah, exactly, right there. That's the fucking
good work, HD Joe.
Yeah, I just don't understand how they think that aesthetically looks good, because now that you have this upper section that moves, her iconic emblem does not match up, and it looks like shit. It looks like, you remember when people used to wear cutoff shirts back in the 80s, and it'd be
what's wrong with that, Joe? Come on.
Yeah, no, but it does. It looks like she just has a cutoff upper top. It looks fucking horrible. I don't like this.
I know really fucking bad.
Doesn't it, Rebecca? And this is what I mean, because some people say, well, more articulation's better. It's like,
no, it's not. Now, if it's sacrificing the aesthetic and design of the toy, it's better.
It completely. And then let's get to the face, because holy, what is this fucking bird?
Exactly.
What is food? That looks fucking terrible. Nothing's matching up. Their face, her jaw looks elongated. The lips are too low. Yeah, her lips are down. The teeth are painted weird. It just looks like shit. And I've had some people say that's more beautiful than anything that Classics ever put out. I'm like, are you fucking But again, if you like that, cool. But it's like, you can't honestly say that looks better than like. Even worse. It's like,
so bad.
Can somebody really honestly?
God, her skin tone looks like shit. I mean, she just looks like she's sick.
I'm hoping that she's
white. Look at the dress. The white isn't the same.
Right, the top and the lower part. It's Like, I'm just being
And what
honest.
is it about this entire line? All the colors are so damn muted. Like, there's no vibrancy in any of these shitty Masterverse figures. They're all muted figures. I mean, the sculpts are bad enough, but like, there's nothing that pops with the entire line. The packaging's terrible. The figures are terrible. The colors are terrible. Like, it's just, it's such a, oh my God.
That's why I had to bring that up, though. It's like I said, not being a dick, but yeah, it looks like a kit bash more than official. Agree, Gavin. I don't know how anybody, in all honesty, Jesus Christ, I can't even fucking talk, can think that looks fantastic. It's like, look at that design.
Because if you're collecting a toy line and your job is, and your passion is to collect every toy line, you're going to convince yourself of certain things, that this toy line is the best toy line sculpts ever in the history of mankind, until 3 years from now, Mattel go, here's a new She-Ra figure, and then you go, this is the best toy line. This is the best
Keep
She-Ra.
going and going.
Is that thing? Because you've got to, if you're spending that money, and don't get me wrong, there are people that probably genuinely 100% love that. But I think there is also a section of people that probably look at that figure and think, that's not very good, but I need one in the box. I need one to put on my display. So I'm going to buy two.
You said it right there, James. I've had a lot of people that when they were commenting, they said, she might not look that great, but at least I can afford her and get her. They actually just settle. And I can understand you wanting to collect something. I absolutely do understand that. But it's like you should have some kind of standard
There are affordable, good-looking She-Ra toys, though. Like,
there are. It's like
there's the vintage-looking one from Super 7 that isn't super expensive right now.
Yeah, like there's other things to get out there that are pretty cool. But I mean, just if they can admit it, like, hey, I want to collect it all, but yeah, I guess it's bad. But to say it is better, or some people justified, well, I can't afford this stuff from class. It's so expensive, so I'm getting this and it's better. It's like, but that logic doesn't make sense.
Quite better, yeah. So it's
and I guarantee these people will realize it one day, because I was guilty of this too. Nathan knows that all too well. Like,
oh yeah,
buying it all because, oh my God, I gotta have it all. And convincing yourself they're all great. Like, no, you'll wake up one day and realize, oh my God.
And then years later, it's all just packed up somewhere, and you
packed
never
up.
see it again.
I did it. Yeah, I did it with 2000X. I did it with the Star Wars Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith toys. Like, you sink all this fucking money into these toys. Like, oh my God, what was
someone I once knew. I remember going to his place. He collected every single 2002 toy, like the whole that toy line. All the variants, everyone, whatever the price was, as expensive as it was. And yeah, about 2 or 3 years later, after the cartoon, maybe like 2006, 2007, he sold them all. And he sold them all for shit. Because guess what? Like, during the whole day of the Wizard and Toy Fair magazines going, buy this, it'll be worth lots of money. Yeah. Mattel aren't telling us to say this. Of course not. The shills don't exist. So yeah, they would basically, do this and basically buy all these toys, and some of them thinking it's going to be an investment. I'll keep one in the box, and it's like, do you understand what an investment is? Like, it was like everybody who bought Spider-Man #1 in 1990, Todd McFarlane, when he did the Spider-Man. Yeah. Oh, guess who bought one? Guess who bought Spawn #1? You're buying it and you're thinking, oh my God, the value of this in years from now is going to be amazing. Forgetting that they printed like 40 million of them. And it's like, you go to a comic shop, how much for Spawn 1? This is like, and it's like, yeah, mate, they printed loads. You just got suckered into buying them. And it's that thing. It's the same thing with action figures. Is you find
that fear of missing out.
Oh, that, which again, we said a few moments ago, that's a reflection on modern kind of social media society.
Yeah.
Which is, I've got to be a part of this. And you see it with a lot of, like, what I've seen, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of Facebook groups where it's like, this is what we're going to talk about. Oh, guess what? We're going to talk about this and this and this and this new thing. And it's like, you don't have to. If you're a dedicated page that talks about this, just talk about that. That's fine. And don't get me wrong, you can talk about whatever you want, but it's weird when you see them jumping.
Everyone's all about that moment, and then move on to the next moment. Like, there's nothing long lasting, nothing leaves.
I'll just say one thing that I always say. I always tell Dušan if he's just like, look at this, and I always say, look, dude, I go, 20 years from now, when we're all heading towards our graves, oh Christ, people will still be talking about the Alcala, DC, Filmation, UK. People will still be talking about stuff because it was all done, with there was like an innocence to it, and it was just a bunch of people going, let's try this. Whereas I just find that everything that's come post kind of classics really is just, let's try and take this and do it again and change this and change that. There just doesn't feel as much heart in it. But I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand these things have, all these shows and new toy lines and etc. have fans. Of course they do. But as we saw with Princesses of Power, which is, I've never seen something like that in all my life, where there was this very vocal collection of people going, it's the best cartoon ever. But that's awesome. If you like it, that's, I think that was Dušan laughing.
They disappeared like a fart in the wind. They were gone instantly.
Yeah, they did.
That's the thing that surprises me. I didn't expect it to be a drop-off like that, which it absolutely was. Like, I guarantee it blew my mind how quickly that show was forgotten. I was just like, wow.
We're the best.
But yeah,
it
that's
happens
the thing.
with every single reboot.
Yeah, he's right. It happens with every single reboot. Like what was the one thing? Oh yeah, so the other week I told a few people this, made a few people chuckle, but again a reflection of modern social media. Someone left a comment on one of my She-Ra images or videos or whatever that I put on Instagram and said, I tried watching the old show, but it didn't make sense. I didn't know what was going on. The new series is so much better, right? So I just replied and I said, I'm glad you like the new series, but if you were to give the old one a chance, blah blah. And I think I said, like, you had some of the greatest sci-fi and fantasy writers at the time writing for She-Ra, and animators who would go on to work at Disney and change the industry. Like a guy like Bruce Timm, people like that were working on these shows. They may not have enjoyed it as much, but they worked on these shows. A lot of talent were working on these shows. I told this person, I just a paragraph, and this person came back, and their response was simply, wow, you're so nice. And it was like, what, did you want a fight? Did you come here to engage in a fight or something? I don't think they did, but I think they're so used to people going, my one's better. And I was like, look, I'm going to listen to what you've got to say, but I disagree. And here's what I present, which I think could end a lot of wars. But it just boggles the mind. It's like, I don't go onto the Revelation pages or the She-Ra Princesses of Power pages going, Huntara in the original is so much better. It's just like, because it's like, what's the point? Just do your thing and do your thing, because in 5 years from now, you'll be on to the next thing. Whereas I'll still be talking about Huntara. Did you know she was ebony skinned and designed by Tom Taylor and Howitz and Larry DiTilio? But I still keep doing that.
It's what we said. We've been celebrating He-Man and She-Ra for all these years since even it's been gone. We've kept it alive. We've been talking about it.
Before the internet.
Yeah, before exactly. And do you think that the so-called fans of this new She-Ra will celebrate it in 30 years? Like you said, it's already gone. They don't.
The only way they can express their fandom is through the internet, though. It's through Twitter and shit. They don't go out and buy the toys or collect the DVDs.
If I may present one thing we saw, which I think I kind of was a bit gutted for him when the show was on TV or Netflix, Princess of Power. That year, PowerCon, Val was I don't want to say so sure, I'm not going to drop him in it, but he was confident that there were going to be an influx of Princess of Power fans.
Princesses of Powers?
Princesses of Power fans, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, say it
there
right.
Was not.
Don't confuse it with that shit. I mean, the other shit.
But there was not. There was maybe a few. You could spot them a mile off, and it's just like, okay, well, that's good. Maybe it'll change the following year. No, that was the 1 year they turned up just to see the the 5 writers. So it's just like, it was a shame in that sense, because it's like, if you're a fan of the show and you're going to shout from the rooftops that this is the greatest show and it's better than the original, at least stick to your beliefs. Just jumping off it a year or two later makes me go, was it that good? Or are you just surely if you liked it, where's your blogs, where's your YouTube channels, where's your videos, where's your images, where's your cosplays celebrating all this? And it's like, oh, they don't exist.
There's that need too for everyone needs to feel like they are the biggest fan ever about everything. Like they need people to believe that about whether it's sports or the latest Star Wars film. They need people to believe that, oh my God, I'm the biggest fan that you'll ever know.
I was there. Here's my ticket. Here's my shirt I bought at Hot Topic. And
one of the things about I was talking earlier about Safari Joe commentary on the Safari Joe commentary, I literally start off by saying, look, I'm not going to profess to being the Thundercats expert or anything. And I say there are so many more people more qualified to be Thundercats experts. I'm someone that in the UK we only ever had season 1 of Thundercats, so we didn't get the Lunatics and all that stuff. We just saw, we only got Thundercats.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we only got season 1 because they were still. Bear in mind, like I've told you before about how the UK showed cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
They debuted the cartoon in 1988, or it was 87 maybe. And then they were still showing new episodes because we got one a week when they decided to show them in batches, one a week up until 1991. So we were still getting season 1 new episodes in 1991.
Holy shit.
The show was already dead by that point. And then they just never picked up season 2. So the only thing of season 2 we saw was the VHS release of Thundercats Ho! The movie. It's almost like I'm teasing a future Serial Geek TV.
You could very well be, you know. I was hoping you might say something like that.
but that's the thing. It's like I'm not going to sit there in front of my camera and go, I can tell you about Inspector Gadget. I know so much about it. It's like, oh no, I grew up and I didn't actually like the cartoon much, but I like the pilot. Or here's how I discovered the pilot. Every video I do on that is always going to come from a personal experience, and not like that time when me and Robbie London were talking about his work on blah blah blah. It's like no.
Hey James, name drop those motherfuckers.
Yeah, name drop all the time. Yeah, it's just it's. Although I do want to make a video about when I went to Lou Scheimer's house, which this blew my mind. Right, I was watching a series called a really great drama series called The Offer. It's about the making of The Godfather. It's got Miles Teller in. It's a really bloody good drama series.
Rooster.
Yes, as I know now. Son of Goose. So he's great in it. It's a really great series. You know, I won't profess to knowing. I've seen The Godfather, but I won't profess to being the biggest fan of the movie. I understand.
They're okay. I think they're overrated, though. I think people have been blowing those films way too much. I mean, they're good films, but God, it's...
But I think obviously what it was very much a game changer, because up until that point, you know, gangsters had been like, you dirty rat, I'm going to, you know, and now it was like, oh, this is something else. So, sorry, I was trying to think. Watching this Offer, and there's one scene where I was just like, this place looks familiar. They're in this beautiful mansion that overlooks like that. I was like, and about a week or two later, I'm looking online, and it said, like, I can't remember put it, the way the headline was structured, like Filmation owners, you know, house used in The Offer. And I was like, that was Lou Scheimer's house. That's what I thought. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm actually looking at the place where I was that time. It's nuts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, James, to you real quick, and to Dušan and everybody here, I have to do some stuff. So you guys continue. It was great being here with you. And Dušan, obviously you can take the role of me. You can make hand motions, insert audio, play with yourself, whatever you're gonna do.
He doesn't need your permission to do that.
Exactly. No, but it was great. So I do have to bow out. It was great though, James. Always great talking to you, seeing you. And same thing with you. I think I locked up, or did James? Or no?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
No, you're still here, bud.
Okay. All right, Dušan. Good seeing you too, you nutball. And I love you guys.
Love you too, Joe.
Love you too, bud.
Finally.
I'm back in the second round.
Finally.
Well, since James got
Sorry about that.
Here,
was my mic still on? I don't know.
Here's a couple questions for you, James. These come from Sean. I was curious if anything new since Filmation Land of Legend pitch has been uncovered regarding Hero and the Powers of Grayskull 1987. And he also follows us up with, would you want to dedicate any time on your channel to discuss?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's already kind of like in the. I won't say it's like within the next year, but it's definitely in my future. I've got the booklet, scanned it all, got to talk about it. You know, anything Filmation related, like Bugsburg, Bravo, all those shows that never came to be or shows that nearly came to be. Yeah, totally going to talk about that. It's all good content. At least I hope it is.
Your content's
old bollocks.
None of the self-deprecation shit. We leave all that.
I can't help it. That's how I roll.
Here's a question for all of us. This also comes from Sean. Which is the best version of Ninja Turtles and Transformers?
The live-action 1990 film. Transformers
Really?
Generation 1. Generation 1, the first 2 seasons of Transformers, to me, that is my definitive Transformers.
I'm going to agree with Tyler with the 90s Ninja Turtle movie, but if we're going strictly animated, and I've said this before, might get heat for it, but I feel like 2012 surpasses the original. Sure, at the end, the wheels start falling off, but overall, I thought they did a really wonderful job on that one. And
they did, but that first season of the 1987 Turtles, like that first season is really fucking good. Like you can just put in that first DVD release and just watch every episode, and the quality is just so fucking consistent. God, it's so good.
And then with Transformers, of course, G1. Everything else is just no.
It sucks. Everything outside of that, like
the Michael Bay movies.
Yes. Yeah, and all the God, I feel like Cartoon Network back in like the early 2000s was putting like a shitload of Transformers cartoons.
Really?
It's what it felt like. I felt like there was just, it seemed like there was like an abundance of Transformers cartoons in the 2000s. Like I remember, because at the time, like when 2002 came out, like the of He-Man, it was like Turtles was back on. G.I. Joe had like that Valor versus Venom shitty cartoon. Turtles was back in the 2002 cartoon. Transformers Armada was going on.
Oh god, the CGI shows! I forgot about those.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there were so many like renditions of Transformers. Like, okay, get rid of that one, do another one, and do another one. And I was just kind of like, oh, it just looks like a bunch of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon bullshit to me. I mean, not to say all anime looks the same because it doesn't, but I just felt like it was just not, I don't know what it was. It was just on to reinvent shit all the time.
Yeah. No.
Question from Simple Tricks and Nonsense. Speaking of Safari Joe, how many shows and movies were based on The Deadliest Game?
Oh, Surviving the Game with Ice-T. That comes to mind first. Hard Target with Van Damme. Those are the only two I can think of.
Is the dialogue point your tits north, step on the gas? That was Hard Target, right?
Yeah, point your tits north and step on the gas. Yeah, that's Hard Target. Yeah. You familiar with that film, James? How about you, Dušan?
Again, I haven't seen Hard Target in so long. I watched. What did I watch the other day? It's like he's still here. Near Dark. I saw Near Dark for the first time the other day.
I still have not seen that film.
What did you think? Because I watched it years ago, and I'm like, it was okay, but it wasn't. It didn't really do anything for me.
No, I was just like, what's going? It just felt like a nothing plot. The premise was, I thought, really good, but it just felt like a nothing plot, like vampires in a camper van. It was pretty much the summary of it. It's like, it's like, what is? I don't understand this. Oh, we've got to fix our tire. It's like, how's this a film?
I never knew what it was until years later, because I'd see it in the video stores and I'm like, there's a charred man. Had no idea it was Bill Paxton. Like, what is that? Like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Fedmon. When you do a video about Serial Geek, the lost issues, I'm fine with waiting another year or two. Just that they are done right. And I am being serious. Well, they're not exactly lost. It's just I've never had the finances to print them. As simple as that. I took enough pre-orders, but it sadly never got all of them in, which was I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and I was like, please. And then obviously San Diego Comic-Con happened, but whenever anybody messages me, it says like, oh, I've been waiting so long, I'm like, you can get your money back, it's fine. It's just I hope to print them one day. The other thing is people say like, why don't you make those last 2 issues digital? It's like, because it's the principle. I still want the physical copies of 15 and 16, because it's so frustrating, because they are pretty much done. The thing for me is I'm always going to lose out from this point on, because as soon as I print them, because I was charging 2014, it was a long time ago, postage rates, and I still did. The postage rates in the UK have gone up since then. So whenever I send these issues, when I send 15 and 16 out, I'll basically be paying for people to have a Serial Geek. It's like, here, own a Serial Geek. So it's the only thing I can do is like, if things work out with the YouTube channel, because obviously I've got people on Patreon supporting me. It's like, if that kind of takes off a little bit more, then fingers crossed. Then I started reselling stuff on my He-Man and She-Ra shop recently. Which link is down below. Go ahead and give that a
check out the link. I'm going to put I think I'm going to put this poster on there maybe, and like some others. Like the Teela ones are really nice. I'm pointing at something you can probably barely see, but like Francesco there.
Yeah.
That Teela's, it's a really lovely image. I always like the way he drew her face. She's okay.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a great one.
So yeah, I've got like a bunch of images that are poster worthy. So what's I missed, what was the what's HD Joe doing?
Oh, what he does best, using his trusty right hand.
I thought he shrugged then. Oh, that's nuts. That's so
someone in the chat already answered this, but Ren popped in. Why are you guys on so early? But I'm going to take this question.
I sent Ren a message earlier. Check your damn messenger box, dude.
But
I told you at 12 o'clock today. You're no more than like 2 hours away from us right now. I said 5 o'clock. Did you? Let me look at this. Let me look at this. I bet he didn't even bother to look at it. Watch this. I'm going to embarrass him live right now.
Well, speaking of...
He saw it and even hearted it and ignored it. So.
Speaking of Ren, we'll go ahead and share this. It's okay to share this now. This collaboration.
It's okay, yeah. So, the commission he did for me is finished. This will be available.
Oh, wow.
This is on TeePublic, available for people to buy right now. It's an homage to the Ninja Clamp toy commercial.
HD Joe likes it. Look at that. He's giving his seal of
approval. He's all over it. So yes, if you want one on a jacket, a tank top, a t-shirt,
so nice.
A hoodie, whatever, it's a nice throwback to Errol McCarthy's classic clothing line. So I definitely like to do more of these with Ren. So.
Also, every time I see Clamp Champ and Ninja, I always just think of that just epic scene in the Search for Keldor with the bow and arrow. That's still one of the greatest depictions of Clamp Champ ever. It's like, oh my god, he has heightened senses. He's such a badass.
Yeah,
just like boof.
So underutilized. Ren was really happy to do that too. So
it's such a gorgeous illustration.
Yeah,
I'll make sure to put the link in there because I forgot to slide the link in there. I'll put the link. I'll probably have the link in there going forward. That way, if people want to do it, we can remind them. And Ren wanted to say that nobody listens to you, Tyler. So.
Well, everybody listens to me, just not you. Well, clearly Ren doesn't listen to me because it took him forever to get the fucking poses right.
Ren, you're gonna have to go back to the beginning.
Yeah, not the real Joe, Ren, but you can insult this one too. He may insult you back though.
Yeah, he don't mind.
He's got a fiery temper though, as we've said.
Yeah. this Joe's real Italian though.
Yeah,
he has a real Italian accent. Yeah, he's a very proud Joe.
He's a very sexual being. He's
He's all about sexual healing.
Look at that!
Look at that! Close up.
What a mess. I'm not seeing any other questions in here, so we could probably go ahead and wrap it up here in a few minutes. James, is there anything else you want to say or the plug? I mean, in the YouTube channel, of course, which I got everything down there. Was there anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, I think that's everything, really. Thanks for having me on, as always. It's always a pleasure waffling with you guys and chewing the fat and putting the world to rights. Hopefully, do it again at some point.
Oh, yeah. We'll have. I know Tyler, I think his whole thing is he's been wanting to have you back and we could all do an episode watch along together. I know we keep talking about that.
Yeah.
We should do a Secret of the Sword watch along. That'd be a good one.
Oh yeah.
Dušan, you up for that too?
Sure.
All right.
That's all you need.
I love it.
You need. So for the I'm sure you guys seen it, the forthcoming Blu-ray release of He-Man and She-Ra episodes, which are just ridiculous. Like, this company have done the best job of upscaling. I thought I've shown you images of the Blu-ray, the image of He-Man at Castle Grayskull. It's like this proper upscale thing. Sure, I've shown you that. This was like a month or two. I even posted it on social media. I said something like cocky, like when the $1 billion corporation can't be bothered to upscale.
Oh yes, other. Okay. So there's I guess I remember that, but so there's an actual Blu-ray coming out.
Yeah. The only downside, the only downside is it's not in this country. But the pluses are.
Oh yes, I remember that now. Yeah,
it's in English. You get the episodes in English, and you get like the reason I brought it up was because like I did a bunch of commentaries for them, and one of the commentaries was the most.
Why did I forget that? I guess I what God.
That's all right.
Yes, James even sent me this in voice message. Boy, I'm having like a Joe Amano moment right now. God, my apologies.
That's all right. But yeah, doing the episode commentary for The Secret Sword was the most exhausting experiences of my life because you had to.
You even told me that part too. God, I don't fucking listen to anybody. All this is James is saying this. I have all this documented in voice messages. Like motherfucker. Like, God, man, I listen and I forget.
But yeah, it was Secret Swords. Like when you watch it back, I sent the commentaries to Dušan just for like, did these sound all right? And he was like, they're really good. I was like, okay, that's all I need. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do them, but bloody exhausting when you're doing a talk like that. But the amount of edits, I think it was 809 edits to the audio track. So it's just like all these little. Oh, it's just exhausting.
Are you going to want to do a Secret of the Sword commentary with us after having spent that much time?
No.
What if we just play it and you just sit there like this the whole time? Like, oh
yeah.
Well, I'll do what some episode commentaries do, which is like, look at that, which we've heard over the years. Which is like, I like this scene. It's just like, is that it? What you got?
Oh, we've been guilty of that too.
I'm joking. I've been on those with you guys where it's just like we just end up watching it going, oh, Dawn of Dragoon's great. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be talking, But no, I'm talking about like official DVDs. Was it like the classic one was the Arnie one was it Conan or something? Where it's just like, oh, I like this.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like on the with the one he does with John Milius, where they're laughing a lot and talking about
it's just like him, just like him watching it. It's like, Arnie, give us some behind the scenes information. Look at this. Look at me with the sword. It's just like, no, I don't want to do like a Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, Kermit Conan over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of fun. But yeah, which like a good Secret of the Sword watch along or something would be like great fun or something.
And Fetmon says here, will we ever get that Fans of Power Council of Wisdom mega podcast? The one where it's going to be like James and Danielle and all of us, and it's going to be like just a shitload of people. Yeah, that'll probably happen.
Yeah, if StreamYard can handle it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I will say, I know, like, because James is doing all these discussions of 80s cartoons and like Dušan's helping. It'd be awesome if we did like a 80s animated intro kumite of like pitting the best themes against each other, excluding He-Man and She-Ra, because they're going to win no matter what. But we take all the ones. I mean, come on, man. I feel like it's putting in a ringer if we do that.
If we're talking about introduction sequence, right? We're talking about introduction sequences.
Yeah. Whatever opens the show, like the most badass of the badass, like put it
either Thundercats or Ninja Turtles. Those are the best. Like, I love He-Man and the Master Universe, like, obviously.
Well, I'm not going to argue Thundercats because I mean, all right,
we'll have to get that
already.
We'll have to get that because I'm already like, I don't know, Batman the
like
Animated Series is pretty good.
Bionic 6, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, like, even if you don't like the show, like some of these animated sequences are fucking awesome, dude. Just. I would just love we have just a bracket and we're just pitting against each other and all of us just arguing with each other like no you're wrong and Dušan's like cussing me out and like no you don't understand. Dušan, you think you get into something like this? Think about it and get back to
me. No, you didn't see it. See, Tyler's not paying any attention
because I wanted Dušan to talk. Okay, all right, I get it. I'm wanting to hear Dušan talk more, and he's just relying on sign language and speaking in Italian.
Sign language. That's what that is.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the idea of doing that. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
But none of the fluffy shit. We won't have like Care Bears and stuff like that.
Maybe we'll narrow it down to. We'll narrow it down to like 16 or something. There's like
16 of the best of the best.
The best of the best, and they're going against each other and see who comes out on top.
Yeah.
Well, shit. I guess we'll wrap it up. I wish Joe would have hung around because I like it. You pass along to him and he just does the whole thing. But I'll go ahead and do that. Or we could have James do it because James, do you have a spiel at the end of your channel where you tell people to like?
What do I say? Oh, I just do the where's my spiel? Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Witty comment afterwards. I did do one thing where I was going to go like, what was it? I was like, I'm going to do a hand thing where I go, please be sure. Yeah, look, here we go. He started.
Oh, no.
Please be sure. I was going to go like, please be sure to like. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, or something like that. Where I was going to do the. I was like, no, I'm not doing like a child's entertainer. Like, just subscribe to the channel.
There we go.
The bell.
Just end on that, just really big.
Yeah, with that, have a powerful day.
Oh, that noise killed